Hello, 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 my muses, my flames, my lost souls. Hello, and welcome back to my stream. It is me, your favorite monster under the bed, the shadow in your closet, your Ghost Lights host with the most, Lilith O'Leary. Today, we're going to be doing a Q&A, my very first Q&A. So, I'm very excited. I'd like to jump right in, and if we finish early, we can take questions here in the live chat. Hello, everyone. I'm going to bring this on screen here. I'm doing quite well today, as you can probably hear. I have not coughed once yet, so be proud of me, because I'm proud of me, and I'm proud of you. Thank you for coming here today. Let's jump right in to the first question for our Q&A. Isn't that dramatic? Come on now. There we go. What is your name? I'm sure we all know. You can say it with me on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Lilith O'Leary. Good job, everyone. Good job. Yes. Yes. It sounds even better when you say it. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. Do you have a nickname? Yes, I do. That nickname I've spelled out for you here. It's Leerie. You can't really shorten Lith anymore, you know, Lilith. You can't do Lil or Lith, you know. Well, whatever. You can call me Lilith. You can call me Leerie. Anyone works. Number 3. What is your art/live tag? For those who do not know, I've also written them down here. These are my art tags. We have hashtag Lilithstrations for art and Eerie Leerie, hashtag Eerie Leerie for my live tag. There is no space there, but we can just ignore that. We can just ignore that. Number 4. Number, I've lost count and it's fine. What is your favorite Pokemon? We're getting right into it, okay? I have a couple because I can never pick just one, okay? I don't have one of anything, I don't think. So, my first is Eevee because of potential. Eevee can be anything, and I really appreciate that. If Eevee had a ghost type though, I think that would probably be my favorite. The next one that I love is Ditto, because I've always said if anybody ever asks me what my superpower would be if I had to choose one, it would be a shapeshifter. Duh, you can do anything. You can fly, you could breathe underwater, you could be super strong or super small. All you need to do is change into something that can, like, do that. Anything is possible. You need to be invisible, octopus, or chameleon. Duh. Come on. My last one that I love very much would be Litwick and its evolutions, and I can't really put my finger on why I might like that. Let's move on. What is your favorite monster? This was a very easy one for me because it's the motor from The Ritual. Has anybody seen this movie, The Ritual? An incredible folklore movie. Here, let's take a look at what motor looks like. That shit is terrifying, okay? You see that in the woods? If I saw that in the woods, I would be running. I would be running very far and very fast. The problem is that everybody runs from motor and nobody gets away. It's a very, very good movie. I think that you should definitely watch it. While we can see that he is some sort of elk monster, he's like supposed to be a son of Loki or something. You know, he's like a Scandinavian Norse god abomination, and I really appreciate that. We've got You've got the horns coming out of like a torso, and then you come down here to the rest of his face and it's also like another torso hanging upside down. Oh my god. How would he wear a hat? Where do you think you would put it? Here, let's see a frontal. See, look at that. Look at his little eyes just peering right at you. Beautiful, beautiful. I love him. He's just spooky and scary. And I love that. He's a terrifying monster. He does great things, and I don't want to talk about it too much because we'll absolutely be watching that movie at some point. But the Motor, incredible monster. Let us continue on. What is your favorite creepypasta? So creepypasta is not something that I frequented much, believe it or not, as somebody who really wasn't on the internet much until, you know, a couple years ago. So I would have to say like Slender Man, and that's really basic, but let me tell you why. I can appreciate a man in a suit, first off. Second off, I am a creature of the woods, so I can respect any other creature of the woods, okay? He long. He got multiple arms, okay? Tentacles, if you will. And also, there was a dream that I had about him when I was growing up. And I don't have a lot of nightmares. Usually I don't have a lot of nightmares that like really stick with me, but I remember this one because I was standing by my front door and we couldn't get it to close, and it was like dark outside, and I'm looking down the street, and standing under the light post is like Slender Man, and he's just standing there, but he's like walking towards us, you know? So he's getting closer and closer and closer, and nobody else notices except me. But the problem is that I couldn't say a thing. I was mute. I didn't have a voice. So I was just sitting there pointing at him and gesturing and being like, look, that's fucking Slender Man over there. He's gonna come and get us. And everyone was like, what are you talking about? Where? We can't see anything. Because like they didn't know what I was pointing at because no one else could see him. And they also couldn't fucking hear what I was saying. Whatever. He was Long Man. Yes. Yes. I've never heard of Lavender Town Syndrome. I know like Lavender Town from Pokemon, but it's like this is ringing a bell with me, but I couldn't dive deeper into it. It's like the creepy for some reason. Maybe they're all dead. I don't remember. But the Lavender Town song is pretty slapping. Yeah. Let's move on to the next question. What are your top 5 favorite foods? Ooh, that's a hard one. But I think crab legs would have to be the first. I love crab, and I love having to work for my meat. Just a little bit. And I feel like crab legs are just the best kind of like satisfying work that you can do. You gotta crack into the bone of the crab, which is their exoskeleton. They're like a sea spider that you get to eat. And I'm terrified of spiders, so I feel like it gets back at them or something for some reason. So, the BGM from Lavender Town makes you insane. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. That's really cool. I like that. So crab legs. Crab legs is my first top 5. Next it would be sushi, because I really like sushi. I'm not really a fan of like raw fish per se, but I do love shrimp. So if you get any tempura shrimp sushi rolls in front of me, they're gone. They were never there, actually. Can you get me more? My third favorite is any kind of Thai food. I am obsessed with Thai food. I love nam khao. I love chicken satay. I love any kind of curry that you can give me. And I stand firm. After 10 years, after like working at a Thai restaurant, a very authentic Thai restaurant, I think like 6 or 7 years ago, they had the best fried rice I think I've ever had in my entire life, and I still strive to find something that could even compare. And I haven't yet, but I found the sausages that they used for it. So Chinese sausages at my local Asian mart. My fourth favorite food would have to be loaded waffle fries, which is basically like nachos, except the chips are waffle fries, and then the toppings are everything that you might find on a baked potato, and then it's baked in the oven, and it's so good, and you serve it with seasoned sour cream, and it's delicious. Pumpkin sushi I have never tried, but I would try it. I like pumpkin a lot. I think, here's a little fact for you. Butternut squash is really, really good for you. It's very nutritious. So if you can stomach pumpkin, you could blend it up and mix it into your mashed potatoes or something for some extra nutritious mashed potatoes. So there's a little tidbit for you if you struggle with getting your healthy nutrition in. Pardon me, I had to take a sip of water there. So, my last favorite food would be Korean barbecue and hot pot. And I know those are not the same thing, but I could not bear to pick one over the other. They're super, super good. I used to get hot pot every weekend with my friend. We would go roller skating and we would go get hot pot afterwards or before, and it was always amazing. Me and my sister went and got hot pot once, and I think her broth was like the best broth I've ever had. She was so embarrassed to be eating there with me because she was like, you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know how to make hot pot. And she was right. But Korean barbecue is also incredible. We have only like one spot where I'm from where I can get Korean barbecue, but lucky for me, it's a really good spot. Let us continue on. Yeah, Kate. Hello, Kate. My sister's in the chat, everyone. Please applaud her for being the best cook that I know. Best cook that I know. Excuse me, we just answered that. My favorite fast food, let me back up for this because I'm about to shout. It's Raising Cane's! Raising Cane's is my favorite! I hope you heard that. Let me tell you why though. Wait, let me push my chair back in. I'm sitting here on carpet and I don't use the really fancy computer chair that I have. Instead, I use a couch cushion because I've been dying for the past 2 weeks. Raising Cane's is my favorite fast food. Let me tell you why. I fucking love chicken strips, okay? I love chicken strips, and I feel like anywhere that sells chicken strips like this, they're either dry or they have too much breading. And Raising Cane's, for some reason, where I'm from, at least, I know that it could probably differ from state to state or country to country, wherever you are, I don't know. But the Raising Cane's that I have near my place is fire. They're juicy. They've got just the right amount of breading. They're always like fully cooked, which, you know, I feel like I shouldn't have to mention, but unfortunately I do. And it's just the most incredible chicken I've ever had in my whole life. I've tried to recreate the sauce here at home, and I've done it successfully, but it's not the same without their specific chicken. I don't know what it is, but fucking $25 for a 6-piece is ridiculous, but I will pay it. I will pay it for Raising Cane's. God damn. Now I want Raising Cane's. Choice of sauce for chicken strips is always going to be cane sauce. If it is not available, I will begrudgingly take barbecue sauce. However, I used to work at a bar when I was young, and I'm not young anymore. I'm an ancient being, but when I was younger, I worked at a bar, and I would have the fry cook. You know, there's this thing with food service where you are a young and pretty girl, and they're like older and kind of creepy, but if you flirt with them, they like give you free food. And I did that. I wanted free food, so I would have him make me chicken strips, and then I would mix together barbecue sauce and, okay, don't judge me, I mixed together barbecue sauce and mayonnaise and a little bit of like honey mustard and a little bit of ketchup, and you whip it all together, and it like does something. It like changes something within you, and it chemically it transforms into some type of thing, which is very delicious. I don't know what it is. It's like smoky and shit. I don't know. Otherwise, my third and final sauce that I will talk about is honey mustard. But I hate Dijon to the point where I can't have a lot of honey mustards because they always use Dijon. But I found one place that uses like French yellow mustard and honey and pepper, like some seasonings and shit. So fucking good, let me tell you what. My god. Yeah, it was really good. So if I make my own honey mustard, I can do that. Yeah. Moving on to our next question. Hey, I said don't judge me, man. God damn. I was young and brainless. And now I'm a decrepit fucking creature. Do you like pineapple on your pizza? What do you think? What do you think the answer to this question is? It's yes. I fucking love pineapple on pizza. I don't understand what the problem is, if I'm being completely honest. It's acidic, and I don't eat it like alone on pizza. I wouldn't put cheese on a pineapple, you know, but for some reason, I really like pineapple and bacon together on a pizza. But it has to be tomato sauce and not like any other kind of like pizza sauce on there. So that's what I have to say about that. Pineapples are hardcore, okay? They're so acidic that they dissolve your flesh when you chew on them. Did you know that? So basically, when you are eating a pineapple and you get that tingling sensation in your mouth, that means it's eating you too. Hardcore. How could you hate that? I give mad respect to pineapples. Okay? Okay. Let us continue on. Any minute now. Do you listen to ASMR? I can. I think I definitely used to at one point. I don't really do that in my free time anymore, but I do like crunchies. I can tolerate listening to crunchy things, but I really hate mushy things, and I don't like listening to people eating mush. Specifically, I was like visiting a friend recently. Not recently, like not recently at all. Oh my god. But the last time that I visited one of my friends, she put on this ASMR review of this guy who's, I guess, like an infamous reviewer. And he has like slick back blonde hair. He looks like a lanky little fellow. And he's like wearing a suit and tie, but he's like sitting in his car with a seatbelt on, and he's like, oh, today we're gonna like review McDonald's. And he eats the McDonald's but like ASMR style, and it was the most disgusting thing I think I've ever heard in my whole life. And it really turned me off of ASMR after that. Like I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. But you know, yeah, I don't know what his name was, if it was Review Bra or not. He was just an awkward looking little guy. But, you know, I haven't seen any of his other videos either. It's just been that one. But he definitely impacted my life after that. So, you know. Food ASMR is not ASMR. What is? Just the voice? Or do you like the tapping? Should we do some tapping? Wait, why? How about that? How about I do it on my water bottle? Ready? Nah. I could do the clickety-clacketing anytime. I can also probably like listen to myself eat at any time, but something about crunching on pickles or chips, man. It had everything that I wanted, I guess. Or that I was craving to hear back in the day. I don't know what that's about. Yeah. I think anybody that listens to ASMR has a particular thing that they will not and will listen to. It's all a matter of opinion, and that's what is so beautiful. Our brains are wired so differently, and we're all different and beautiful in our own ways. I listen to crunching, munching, and you listen to tippy tapping. And that's incredible. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm not very profound, as you can tell. I'm just a silly guy out here in the woods. Let's go on to the next one, huh? Do you have any pets? Yes, I do. You met one yesterday. I have 2 feline companions. One little fluffy shadow named L'Ombre, and one little tabby familiar named Petite. I came across both of them in the wild. I can tell you about them, I suppose. I can do that. So my first cat is Petite, and she has been with me since I was small, since I was a teenager. And how she came about was how should I tell this story? Or should we start at the beginning? So I was approached by someone. And they said to me, Lilith, help. My neighbor owns a farm, and last night there was a box of cats just dropped off onto his property, which I guess is not that uncommon. I guess people think that's like a thing that they can do, which is really awful. Like, don't do that. Farmers keep cats sometimes to like help with mouse control and like pest control, but that doesn't mean that they can like feed all of them and stuff. Like, you can't just drop your cat off there and then be like, oh well, I guess we have 6 more cats, honey. Let's go buy more cat food. Like, you can't do that. They're just there to fend for themselves. And this guy came up to me and he was like, please, like, if you can, please, can you take one? Because like 2 of them have already been like stepped on by the cattle and the horses and stuff, because they're little babies. They don't know what's going on, so they're just running around everywhere. Which is terrible. So I was like, you know, I've never owned a pet, and my mother is allergic, but yeah, I'm gonna take a look for science, but I'm definitely not getting one. So we ended up heading there, and it was me and my friend at the time, and we walked up to the barn and we were like greeting the farmers or something, and he was telling me about how they were all kind of like hanging out in the horse stable at the moment. And I like looked over his shoulder, and this cat, this tiny little cat face looked out of the like barn door, like just poked her head right out. And she was so small, like she couldn't have been more than like 9-10 weeks old. And she was like on the fence that keeps the horses in, and she jumped down and she like strolled up to me, trotted up to me, you know, head held so high and tail high in the air. Okay, she was confident, you know. And she strolled right up to me, stopped at my feet, and sat down and stopped at my feet and looked from my toes all the way up and met my eyes. And then she climbed my body. She scaled me like a fucking building, okay? And came and sat right onto my left shoulder. And she like looked me in my face, and I looked at the farmer and I gave him like a finger gun. Like I was like, I'm just gonna go with this one. You can, you know, do you need anything else from me? You want payment? And he didn't even need payment or nothing. This cat climbed up onto my shoulder. She chose me, and I just left with her. And then I hid her in my basement. I took her down to my basement. Me and my younger sister shared a basement. We shared a room for like most of our lives, because we like couldn't afford enough rooms for all of my siblings. So her and I always shared a room. So when I brought the cat home, I immediately was like, I have to show you something. And she like helped me take care of it and hide it from our parents for a couple days. Just for a couple days. We ended up telling them, and they were like so against the idea of having a cat. And my dad was especially like, that cat's name is Noddin, because not a snowball's chance in hell is it staying here. And they ended up being besties at the end of that, which is, I feel like, how it always goes. So that was my little Goyle. Petite. The other cat that I have, he is the floofiest shadow in the world. Yeah, the crazy part about that is my mom's allergies did not even act up. I feel like she's lying about being allergic to cats. I don't know what it is. Yeah. My second cat's name is L'Ambre, and he is a very big, fluffy black cat. He's beautiful. And I got him kind of in a similar way. I didn't get him from a farm, but I got him off of the streets. I was visiting a friend for the first time, and at their house, they were hanging out on the porch or something, because it was like the middle of summer. And he just kind of like showed up onto the porch and was like palling around with everyone. And I'm like, is this your outside cat or something? And he's like, no, we feed him sometimes and he keeps coming back and he's really friendly, but we tried to find out like where he lives and we can't really, we can't find the owner. He's been showing up on my porch for like 2 years or something. Oh no, the first cough. Boo. Is it the first? Who's keeping count? Not me. So, L'Ombre's name is like the French word for shadow or phantom. I don't know if I'm saying it right because I'm not fucking French, but I'm doing my best. So anyway, they had been feeding him for like 2 years. They never found an owner, so he was absolutely, definitely homeless. And unfortunately, like you could tell that my friend was the only one that was feeding him because he was very much just a skeleton wrapped in fur. We thought he might have been a juvenile still because he was so small. And I decided that I would take him home. So I just did. I picked him up and I was like, do you want me to take him? Like, I can if you want. And I like consulted who lived with me and they were like, no, we're not doing that. And funny enough, the next day I had to go back over there because I left something there conveniently. So I invited who was staying with me to come with. And I was like, we're just gonna go there. I really don't want to drive there by myself because it's like deep in the cities and I haven't really driven there a lot before and it's really stressful. And they were like, all right, fine, I'll come with. And I was like, here, you just hang out on this porch right here. Just hang out right here on this porch and I'll be back in a moment. And I go inside and the friend that was like, whose house it was like, hey, what are we doing? And I'm like, oh, we're just going to wait for the little guy to come back. And by the time that we like went back out there, we talked for a little while and kikied. And then we went back outside and there's L'Ombre in their arms. And they turned to me and they just go, open the car door. And so we took him home and he was obsessed with Petite the moment he came inside. And she doesn't like him very much, but she's quite a bit older than he is. But once, he started getting like regular feedings and, a safe environment. We gave him a bath and we brush him often. He has filled out so much. He's a man now. But we're not sure how old he is. He's like me. He's just a creature that cannot be described by age, I suppose. And that's beautiful. Those are my little pets. Yeah. Both rescues, which I love. It's very hard to find beautiful cats, but both of mine are so gorgeous. And especially Petite, since we got her when she was an actual baby, is so well behaved. And I hear all the time, not to brag, because this is about her and this is praising her, but she's so well mannered that she has convinced several people who hate cats to love cats and also get a cat. So not trying to flex, but I'm flexing. I got great pets. Let's continue on. I could gush about them for hours. Lilith, oh little guy collector, that's me, man. I hug him and then I take him with me. That's right. My favorite movie growing up was Aristocats, and I think that had something to do with me being such a cat person. I don't hate dogs by any means. I love dogs also, but for me personally, I would rather house a cat. But, Cats have their own attitude, and I appreciate that. What is a horror movie that scared you? That's a good one. That's a really good one. Probably The Ritual again. That was a terrifying movie. Something about folk horror and not with the extra layer of like being lost in a place that you might not get out of. Like there's already no hope because you are lost, and being lost in the forest. Oh man, Petite heard me talking about her and now she's trying to squeeze her way through the door. Hello, Petite. Come here, beautiful. But being lost in the woods is a very scary experience. Not one that I've like experienced in its entirety, I would say, but being in the woods after dark is like terrifying. There was a time that I took a trip to the mountains, the Rocky Mountains, and I almost died, which was really fun. It's a fun memory to look back on now, but I almost died in the Rocky Mountains because we wanted to go camping there. And where we had decided to go, we'd never really done it before, so we went to like a camping like place where you like rent a spot and then you like hike to the spot and that's your spot. That's where you get to camp. And we went there, but the sun was starting to set when we arrived because when we were like driving there, it was like so far up the mountain that our engine started like smoking and stalling on the way there. So it was a very touch and go drive. So we were late getting to our camp like place to like pick up whatever post we were going to. And we end up having to hike the rest of the way there. We leave our car in this parking lot and we start to hike up this mountain, but the sun was setting so incredibly fast and it was very quickly disappearing behind the mountain. So it got darker a lot faster than it should have. And as soon as that happened, we weren't prepared for that. We didn't have many flashlights. We didn't have really any headlamps. And there were like 6 or 7 of us. So we were trying to hike up this mountain and stay on this trail that was very like loose. It was a very loose trail that we were hiking up in the dark. And we started to hear movement in the dark trees around us. And not only that, but since I'm from somewhere that does not have any mountains whatsoever, some of us were starting to get sick from the altitude. So we were having to stop and acclimate, and one of us puked. It wasn't me, but one of us puked. And then we would keep going, and then we'd stop and acclimate, and it was wasting so much time. By the time that we were scrambling up that mountain to get to our campsite, and we could not find it when we got up there. So we ended up just finding a small clearing that could hold all of us, and we went to bed. And it was pitch fucking black outside. And I think like 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours later, a park ranger came and woke us up. He was like banging on the tents, and he was like, "Do you have any idea where you are?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're in post 9. Like we're here for the camping, and like we're part of this thing." And they were like, "Hey, you're not in your campsite." And we're like, "Oh, well, like we didn't really know where it was specifically." And he's like, "No, this is a moose crossing. You could have died last night." So that's that story, and I think about that, and it brings me back to watching The Ritual brings me back to that, and about how these forest creatures that we kind of live with and live around us in the trees are terrifying, and they can absolutely take us out. And while the motor is, you know, a fictional character, it's still huge, and it is the personification of the unknowns of the forest and the things that you face in your fear. And I think that's really cool. Yeah. So there's my near-death experience for you. It wasn't as a near-death yet. My life didn't flash before my eyes because I was sleeping peacefully through a certain death. So there's that for you. But yes, moose are terrifying. You don't understand how big they are until you're like right next to one and you're like, oh, you're huge. I hope there were no mountain lions in there, man. I really hope not. But bears, I don't know what I would do if I saw a bear. Those things are that is the last apex predator of North America. They're the height of Shaq. How tall is Shaq? I know how big his hands are because I went on a deep dive one day and wanted to know if at what point, like, if he grabbed my face, where would his fingers reach, you know? Like, and it turns out that to him, a basketball in the hands of Shaq is like holding a grapefruit in the hands of a normal person. So make that what you will. I don't know why I have random Shaq facts for you, but that's what I have. Oh my god, Shaq is around 1 moose tall. Nice. 7'1". That's hard for me to imagine. That's hard for me to imagine. I think the tallest person I've ever seen has been like 6'7". A very nice guy too. But he hated talking about fucking basketball because that's all anybody ever thinks of when you're tall. So, yeah. I think a moose might win in a fight, but if the bear is involved, it's the bear. Also, I don't know how you guys feel about the whole bear gorilla argument. I know I'm bringing up an ancient 1v1, but the bear wins. I'm sorry, the bear wins. Let us continue on. What are your top 5 favorite movies? Ooh! Okay. I think one of my favorite movies of all time is Crimson Peak. I love Crimson Peak. The first time that I ever saw that movie, I was entranced with the costumes. At this point, some of you don't know, but I am very interested in fashion. I am a seamstress as a hobby, and I love Edwardian culture, or not culture, but like Edwardian fashion, the big fat puffy sleeves. Oh my god. And this movie had all of that. I actually was obsessed with this movie to the point where when I first saw it, I watched it 7 more times because I couldn't absorb what was happening in the movie because I was so distracted by how good the costuming was. I want I used to know her name, but whoever that designer was that was designing all of their outfits should get an award. Just incredible. The second movie, one of my seasonal favorites, is the live action 2000 Grinch with Jim Carrey. I love that movie. I watch it every year. It's a comfort movie. Sometimes I watch it in July just because I need a little pick-me-up. And it picks me up. I love that movie. This year I threw a Who Pudding cook-off. And I cooked all of them, but I had a surprise Who Pudding cook-off for my little Yule party, which is very fun. European fashion is so beautiful. This movie also has like Americans' golden age fashion as well. Which that's another thing that I learned watching that movie is that Edwardian fashion is the American version of Victorian fashion. It basically was the same around the same time period, which is really interesting to me. Probably not to anyone else really, or very few, but I really like that. I was obsessed with Victorian fashion for a really long time, and it was to the point where I had only learned about that one fashion era from that one fucking country, and it's cool to see what other countries were doing with their fashion around that same time, and it's all beautiful. Jim Carrey is wonderful. I think he's great. That could never be replicated. They really tried with Cat in the Hat, and they did their best. And I think I still really enjoy the Cat in the Hat as well, but not to the point where the Grinch is at. My third favorite movie would be, let's see. I'm trying to think of what I watch a lot. The Prisoner of Azkaban. Yeah. I don't even have to watch the whole series, but if I'm like that movie that movie scared me as a child. I was like genuinely terrified of it, like when they were like, fucking, he's here somewhere in the castle, Sirius Black. I was like, oh my god, the call's coming from inside the house. He's already in the house, dude. You can't go to sleep anymore. Like that shit terrified me. You can't be hiding in where people sleep and eat and stuff. This is their home. That's their sanctuary. And you're gonna have a killer in it. That was terrifying. And then that little rat man, Peter Pettigrew, dude. I think about it a lot, how like he was on the Marauders map. Okay. And he was also Ronald Weasley's rat. Okay. And also the Weasley twins had the map for like 4 years or something. I don't remember when they said they got it, but they said that they've had it for a while. And they're like, oh, we got it from Filch our first year. And all of us, like, they never saw that Peter Pettigrew was the rat. Like, how do you not notice that? I don't know. They were up to a lot of shit, but they were never being helpful until the owls or whatever. But whatever. My fourth favorite movie. I know, yeah, he's sleeping in Ron's bed, dude. The werewolf also was terrifying. It was skinny and lanky and like hairless, and I actually really appreciated that about it as well. It wasn't like a big buff sexy werewolf. It was like a gross mangled werewolf. Like when it runs off and you can see his spine through his like translucent werewolf skin, I'm like, ugh, brother, that's scary. I like it. Yeah. It was a very I just really liked it. I think it was very different from the other ones, and it had like a darker tone without being about a kid being like chased by a man with no nose. It was about like a kid being chased by a murderer who had a vendetta against his family for a good reason. I don't know. I felt that there was real horror and danger in it when I was growing up and when I saw it. And that's all I'll say about that. My fourth favorite movie is American Ultra. This is not a very well-known movie. Like, at least for where I'm from, every time I talk about this movie, everybody's like, what's that? what is that movie? What, can you explain it to me? And I get why, because let me tell you this. The two main characters are Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. I'll let you think about that. I'll let that sink in. Yes. Jesse Eisenberg did a good job, and so did Kristen Stewart. I really liked it, and it's got Walter Goggins, or whatever his name is, the hot ghoul from Fallout. He's in it, and it's good. And it's got the lady from the first season of American Horror Story, and that one guy from that 70s show that nobody likes. I really like it. It's about a guy who sucks, played by Jesse Eisenberg, okay? Perfect fit. A guy who sucks and his girlfriend. And all of a sudden, this lady, this CIA lady, goes into where he works. He works at a gas station, and he's like planning to propose to his girlfriend, but he can't, okay? And he was gonna like take her to Hawaii, but he finds that he can't travel outside of his town because he gets terrible anxiety, which is very sad. He can't travel out of his like country, I guess, or fly to Hawaii because he gets like crazy he's like fucking moist critical. He just can't get on a plane, you know, he'll puke. So they go home, and he's like planning on proposing to her instead, via comic book drawings. And so he's sitting there in the gas station at night, just scribbling on his little sketchbook, his like little proposal things. And this woman from the CIA walks in with a big trench coat and like big ass sunglasses, you know, and she looks him dead in the face. She walks up to the register and she goes, what does she say? She goes, shit, what does she say? Oh shit, oh no, okay, wait, I'm fishing it out of the depths of my brain, okay? We're gonna think about this together, because maybe this would happen to you, and now you'll recognize what's happening if it happens to you. And she goes, Mandelbrot set is in motion. They are fielding the ball. And he goes, huh? And she's like, Echo Choir has been breached. Mandelbrot set is in motion. They are fielding the ball, Mike. And he's like, I don't know what you're saying, lady. And all of a sudden, like, that same night, he calls his girlfriend about it, okay? And he's like, oh, this lady came and said some really weird shit to me. And she was like, what did she say? And he's like, I don't know, like some weird shit. And she's like, no, Mike, what did she say? Like, just focus and think about it. And he said, Mandelbrot set is in motion. They're fielding the ball. And she's like, what does that mean? And as he's like talking to her on the phone, right? He sees two people. Okay, I'll stop talking about this movie in a minute, but I want to get you invested in it, okay? He sees from the gas station window, two people walk up to his car in the parking lot, the only one in the parking lot. They see him go up to his car and like start messing with the wheel or something. So he like takes his little cup of ramen outside, because I forgot to mention this, but he had just made himself a little cup of noodles, all right? And he goes outside with his little spoon and his little noodles. And he goes, hey, stop fucking with my car. And he says it like that. And they like notice him. And then all of a sudden, they come at him. And like one of them brings out a knife. And the other one brings out a gun. And all of a sudden, he like flips his spoon around and stabs one of them in the neck with it. And like throws his fucking noodles into the face of the other guy so fast, and all of a sudden he like rips the gun out of one guy's hand and just shoots them both. They're dead. They're cold on the ground. They're absolutely fucking dead, okay? And all of a sudden he drops the gun. He's like, what the fuck was that? What did I just do? And yeah, so it's a really good movie, and I won't say any more about it because you should watch it, and if you don't, then I guess you'll never know what happens next. Anyway, my fifth and final favorite movie is Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny. That movie makes me smile. That movie makes me laugh. I love Jack Black. I love Tenacious D. I grew up on their music. And I just really like it. That last movie I was talking about, once again, was called American Ultra. If you're interested in it, Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. It's American Ultra. But now we're talking about Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny. I saw that movie when it first came out with my dad. And he absolutely should not have let me see it. But ever since then, I feel like it shaped me as a person. I feel like part of that movie made me who I am today. Which is a weird person. And I love it. I still quote that movie every chance that I can. Especially the part where they're introducing the band. I always wish somebody would introduce me like this. When I went through a performing bout as a professional singer, and I always wanted somebody to just, capture people's attention with me, just to be like, so the next band asked me not to say this, but I'm gonna say it because I wrote it and it's the truth. I fucking love this band. They are the best band ever, period. Ladies and gentlemen, Tenacious D. And then he bows and he sidesteps out of the room. I've always wanted that. I've always wanted that. That is the most amazing show. And for those of you who don't know, it was actually a show. I think they only had 3 episodes, but it was pretty good. It was a funny little show for the 2000s, early 2000s. I don't know where you can watch it anymore, but I remember that shit coming on when I was a kid, like one of those commercials selling love CDs at 3 a.m. It would wake me up and I'd be like, oh, it's Jack Black talking about the devil on my TV screen. It was great. I loved it. So that is, those are my top 5 favorite movies. Yay! You have the same birthday as Kyle Gass. It's incredible. Incredible. Yeah, the Tenacious D music, they were a band before they were a movie, obviously. But the music for their band is also incredible. Jack Black is just so talented. I've never met anybody that hates him, and I don't know if I could trust you if you do hate him. What? He's just so he's like a little guy that entertains. He's awesome. Kickapoo I've covered before, not on the internet, but I've covered that song. Beelzebub is incredible also. If I had 2 more people to sing with, I would absolutely cover that song. And another one that I've done at the most recent place that I used to work at, the owner of the store really loved Tenacious D, and he would sing tribute all the time. And I sang it with him a couple of times, and that's a good memory I like to look back on. He is a great Bowser also. I have some feelings about Bowser that I won't get into at the moment, but he was a really good Bowser. I liked it. Peaches is amazing. I love it. Anyway, you'll probably hear a lot of covers in the coming months, hopefully. If I can get instrumentals or just karaoke's going, we'll fucking do it. We'll cover it. What is your favorite movie quote? Oh, are you ready for this? I quote this every time I have to go anywhere in public. Okay, are you ready? All right, I'll swing by for a minute, allow them to envy me, grab a handful of popcorn shrimp and blow out of there. Can you guess what it's from? I will wait. It's from the Grinch. The Grinch 2000s with Jim fucking Carrey. It's just a movie quote. I don't know why I say it so much. I don't know why it stuck with me, but it's my favorite thing. Yeah. Caitlin knew. Caitlin knew it was from the Grinch. It's good. I don't know what else to say. If you have to go somewhere in public and you're not ready to go, you just say that. And then that makes you feel better. That makes me feel better. Like, oh, it's time to go grocery shopping? All right, I'll swing by for a minute, allow them to envy me, grab a handful of popcorn shrimp and blow out of there. Oh, I have to go to this party that I kind of don't want, like a bunch of people don't like me? Okay, all right, I'll swing by for a minute, allow them to envy me, grab a handful of popcorn shrimp and blow out of there. It will work every time, I promise. I promise. Okay, next one. Come on. What is the first movie you remember watching? This is a fantastic question, and one that I didn't really have to think about to answer because it was Halloween Town. That's the very first movie that I can remember watching as a child. And I think the reason that I remember watching it is because it scared the ever-living shit out of me. For those who don't know, this is a great opportunity to tell you that growing up, I was scared of absolutely everything. Everything. I was scared of the dark. I was scared of having a nightlight. I was scared that every night, if I didn't have the blanket, like, pulled up over my ears, I would hear whispers in the night or something like that. Like, I was riddled with fear for, everything that looked at me or didn't look at me. I was just a very scared child. And Halloween Town actually gave me my first nightmare that I ever remember, because I was like 5 and I had a dream that I was on a roller coaster and we were inching towards the top of the large drop of this roller coaster. The one that, you know, you can, with every click of the track, as you climb your way to the top, your anxiety gains one more point. You know what I'm saying? So, we were inching towards the top, and by we, I mean just me. I was the only one in this cart, and I was at the very front of the cart, watching as my demise inched closer and closer. And as I got to the top, and as I saw what was at the bottom waiting for me, I turned to my right, and I saw the Scarecrow guy, the antagonist of the first Halloween Town movie, and his like flowing cloak and his like scary scarecrow face and laugh, being like bah ha ha ha. And as I started to scream, the roller coaster started to plummet down the large hill, and I woke up shortly after. Because I couldn't handle that. It really is some character development, though. I have spent my entire life basically desensitizing myself to what I found to be scary. And at some point in my journey for this, I thought if I started dressing up like what scared me, maybe it wouldn't scare me so much. And that absolutely helped, like, especially like with confronting things in my life. And around Halloween time, I'm always in some crazy monster makeup, and anytime anyone's like, oh, do you need a walk here, or like, can you walk me here? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm the scariest thing we're gonna find in that alley, you know? So it has helped me to become more fearless, to face your fears and to become the scariest thing that you've ever seen is very fun. Yeah. I still haven't gone through, and I'm kind of wanting to do that this year. Any tips? Hey, stick with me, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing, is facing our fears here together. It's something that I've been doing my whole life. I don't think you understand. If Caitlin's still in the chat, if Caitlin's watching right now, girl, I'm so sorry. Like I said, me and my little sister shared a room for most of our lives. And throughout that entire time, I would cling to her if I was scared. I would force her to walk me to the bathroom if I had to pee at 3 a.m. I would force her to look under the bed or in the closet if I was scared that someone was there. So she is my childhood hero for real. And I'm sorry that I put you through that, but I love you very much, and I hope that she forgives me for that. Because look at me now, yay! Yeah. So it's very interesting development, and very I wasn't even, you know, I feel like I was sacrificing her in a way. I remember she told me about how when we had bunk beds, I said that I wanted to be on the top because the killer would get to her first. I forgot about that. Oh God, it was terrible. I was so morbid and so terrified. It was awful. It was awful. If you don't have any siblings, you don't understand. But we were very young. We were very, very young. Very young. Like the things that you hear your siblings saying was definitely like it rang true with our family. Like I remember my older sister threw a brick at my face when I was like 5. She whipped me in the face with a seat belt clip when I was 4. She chased me with a knife when I was 9. Like we were those kind of kids. It was that's just how siblings are, okay? That's just how they are. Thank you for understanding. That is normal. Don't worry. Kids are crazy. And now that we're adults, we can just look at each other and be like, damn, remember when I did that? And they would be like, haha, yeah, look at us now. We're well developed. Hey, our brains weren't developed yet, okay? I forgive my sibbies for everything that they did when their brains weren't developed. Anyway, let's continue on. I didn't have to do anything to piss them off, to be completely honest. We would just exist and they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing here? So next question is, are you a morning or a night person? Caitlin never did anything mean ever. That's true. She was baby. She was baby. She couldn't be mean because I would beat her up. That's just how it was. I never beat her up, but like I could. Unless it was the nighttime, then she could just lock me out and turn the lights off, you know. Anyway, are you a morning or a night person? As much as I enjoy the night and prefer its scenery, I am a morning person. I'm a very quiet person in my solitude. you know. I like a little quietness, and I feel that it is most quiet in the early morning. I also really love coffee. I have a very specific coffee routine. And I look forward to making it every morning. So when I get to wake up and everything's quiet and still, and maybe the sun hasn't even really come out yet, and you watch the world wake up, it's a beautiful sight. It's a beautiful sight. Okay, this one was an interesting one. Yeah. Would you rather have fish hooks for fingers or screwdrivers for toenails? I don't even have to think about this truly. Like, I would do the screwdriver toenails. Are you telling me that I could unscrew anything that I need? Like, that'd be so handy. If you had fish hooks for fingers, then you wouldn't be able to, like, give anybody any good back scratches, or like play with their hair, or give them massages. I'm a very physical person. I really like touching to show my affection. I'll hold your hand, I'll caress your skin. And how would I twist the screws? I would do a little like ballerina spin, you know? Yeah. I've already thought about it. I've thought about it. I assume that it would be at least 5 different screwdrivers, right? You know? Like, let's do like a Phillips on one and a star head on the other. And they get smaller and smaller as your toes get smaller and smaller. And I've got very tiny little toes. They're basically not even fucking there. It's grotesque, really. So I feel like my pinky toe, like if that were converted into like a type of screwdriver, it'd be one of the ones that have those like really tiny little screws for like watch batteries or something, or like getting into your Game Boy, or like getting in, like taking apart a fucking PS5 or something, you know? Yeah. Yep. A Swedish army knife for screwdrivers. Yes. You think ballerina spinning is scary? Come on. Haven't you been watching Don Da Don? It can be beautiful. Seem like nails with steel polish. Yeah, exactly. What could I do with fishhook fingers? You know? I feel like that's the point where you can't wipe your ass. That's the point where you are debilitated by what's happening with your fingers. But with your little screwdriver feet, I don't know, like you don't have to do, you could still function completely as a person. Yeah. God, that was a sad episode in Don Da Don, wasn't it? It's terrible. An amazing fisherwoman. I'm in a landlocked place. Where am I gonna fish? The bog? I'm terrified of alligators. And that's not a fear I'd like to face. Alligators are terrifying though. They're terrifying things. Imagine being in the water and there's something that looks like a fucking dinosaur in there with you. Oh my god. Yeah. I wouldn't have shit with hook hands, but I could kick it in the eye with a screwdriver toe. Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. Do you have any guilty pleasures you're willing to share? Thanks for adding that last part. Yes. Funny enough, it's popcorn. I love popcorn. Anytime I go to the movies, I need popcorn. Anytime I watch a movie, I prefer to have popcorn. But But why it's a guilty pleasure is because I absolutely should not be having it, because it makes my tummy hurt really bad. Buttery popcorn. What do you mean? What do you mean? What flavor? Yeah, I guess there's kettle corn, which is good too, but I like butter. My favorite food is crab legs. Remember, I like butter. Crab legs is almost an excuse to suck on a paintbrush that is soaked in butter. I don't know. But it makes my tummy hurt. It makes my tummy hurt a whole lot, and I absolutely shouldn't have it. And any time that I make a bag, I think to myself, I'm gonna regret this in 24 hours. And it's always true. But I keep eating it anyway because it's really good. And I like it. Sometimes I'll add cayenne pepper to my popcorn, or just pepper to my popcorn. I definitely recommend trying some seasoning for your popcorn. It's very delicious. I don't like cheesy popcorn. I can't tell you why. It's just it doesn't translate as cheese to me. So I can't do that. But Old Bay on popcorn, oh, I bet that slaps. I bet that slaps hard. Ooh, I'm gonna have to write that down somewhere. I'll find a pen later, but that's gonna be one that I try later. Caramel and cheddar cheese together? I don't know if I would like that very much. I can't do cheese and caramel. I'm not really a big fan of caramel in general, though. I don't know what it is about it. I think it stays in your mouth too long, I guess. Yeah. I mean, buttery popcorn is based, in my opinion. But even plain popcorn, like, if you get some plain popcorn and you just melt some salted butter and throw it in the bag and shake it up, best popcorn you've ever fucking had. I'm saying, I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't know what else to tell you. Popcorn is my guilty pleasure. Do you plan to do any collaborations? I would love to do collaborations. I currently have like no plans set in motion as of yet to do them. My knowledge and connections to other streamers are quite minuscule, so I'm not sure how or who I could reach out to. But I'd like to collab with both women and men alike, especially on karaoke streams. I love singing duets. Although, you know, I can hold my own on my own like karaoke, you know, I don't need a duet, but when you find somebody that can harmonize with you, when I do, it is elation, pure joy. I love harmonizing with people, and I feel like it's so hard to find somebody that can hold their own harmony when they're singing with somebody. So that is very important, and I know a lot of people that can sing, and yeah, that's true. I could. But from what I've seen, I do have some dream collaborations. I'd like to dream big, so the first one would be Iron Mouse, Iron Mouse, and then maybe like Randon the Orc, because he makes me laugh and I really like his design, and Curious Cypher because he seems cool, and Cinder as well. They all just seem like friends I haven't made yet, so that would be super cool. I would also like to bring a very special guest in on one of these streams once I know that you guys are down. For those who do not know, I do have a partner. I do. I have a partner, and I'd love to bring him in on one of these streams sometime. He's way better than me at video games, and he's an absolute genius. I think he'd be very entertaining to watch as well. But yes, Randon, Cinder, Curio, Iron Mouse. That'd be super, super, super cool. Is my husband single? Maybe. Maybe. You don't know. Yes, we should meet Mr. O'Leary. He could be, you know? I've always said marriage is between a husband and a wife, and I am wife. I have husband, so I need wife. So he has wife, and now he needs husband. That's all. Okay. What do you mean? And then my wife needs a husband, and her husband needs a wife. It could just go on and on and on and on. There's always a chance. Okay, never give up. Never give up hope. I need a wife. Please. I need a wife. Collaborations with my wife? Possible? JK. Unless... Let us move to the next question. What is the first video game you remember playing? Great question. It's Mario Party. That's the first game that I can remember playing, and the reason that I look back so fondly on it is because it was like a family tradition between the entire family to play Mario Party, and then the youngest one that could hold a controller but didn't really know what was going on, we would let them hold the controller and then unplug it so that they thought that they were playing with us. But they were just watching the like NPC. They were watching the non-playable. The first Mario Party, yes. Like I said, I'm an ancient being. I was there. Do not speak the deep magic to me. I was there when it was written. Okay? But I remember that. They would always... So I remember them unplugging my controller and letting me just sit there and watch. And I thought I was doing so good. And then we did the same thing to Caitlin when she came of age, and then to my little brother as well. And we all played Mario Kart together as well. And I distinctly remember that because my dad would play Donkey Kong and my mom would always pick Yoshi for some reason. I'm not really sure why. But my older sister would always be Mario, and then me and my younger sister would fight over Peach, and whoever didn't get Peach would either be Daisy or Toad. And, you know, we were all fucking single-digit age, you know? So, that's some good shit right there. Good memory. That's the first one I remember playing, and also thinking I was playing. Thanks for coming, Furtive 4-0. I appreciate you. Caitlin is Peach now. She's just... I've accepted it. I will never be Peach. I'm Wario. And that's that. That's that. But you know what? I win anyway. Even though my favorite food, one of my favorite fruits, is peaches, okay? One of the only hot fruits that I'll eat. Don't... Okay, listen. Fruit, right? Delicious. Love fruit. Fruit pie? Nasty. Don't serve me hot fruit. I don't want that. I don't know what it is, but it's not good. It's like too soft and too sticky. I don't know. But peach cobbler, I'll eat it. I love peaches in a can. There's nothing wrong with peaches in a can. Canned peaches are fine as long as they're not hot. As long as you did not bake them in the oven. bake your fruit unless it's like an apple and it's hard and then it goes soft. You don't put berries and peaches and already soft fruit in the oven. Gross. Ew. Ew. You gotta get a peach cobbler, all right? Bananas are not my thing either. They're like soft nuts. They're not juicy enough. They dry my mouth out. I don't like them. I don't like them. Apple pie? No, I'm not a fan of apples either. They make my teeth feel gritty. Like you know how you like drink a dirt water pop, like a brown pop, like Coke or Pepsi or something? Specifically Pepsi, I feel like I grind my teeth. So when I drink a pop and I end up grinding my teeth, like I inevitably will, there's always like a grittiness to my teeth when I'm eating apples, or if I have just drank dirt water, which I don't even drink pop anymore unless it's a McDonald's Sprite. What is the first horror video game you have ever played? Red grapes? No, unless they're really crunchy. I only like grapes if they're really big and really crunchy. I do love mango. Pineapple on pizza doesn't count because it's like, it's not a whole pie. Like, the pineapple is not the main event of the pizza, you know? It's more so like a garnish on top. Fruit is fine with ice cream a la mode, but don't give it to me hot. That's all I'm saying. I would eat edible arrangements. Yeah. Cold chocolate? Yeah, absolutely. Cold fruit? Hell yeah. Baked fruit? If it's not an apple, hell no. No, 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 no. Pineapple upside down cake? Yes. Where I used to work made a fabulous pineapple upside down cake with one ring of pineapple. So it was like a tiny little cake with one ring of pineapple, and then they put fish caramel on it. And if you've never had fish caramel, that sounds disgusting, right? It was really good because they also served it with 5-spice ice cream. It was really good. I don't know why. You know, I'm not a chef. I'm just I eat, and I do cook, but I don't cook like that. Yeah. Ooh, tomato. Tomato is a fruit, okay? But let me regale you with one of the worst memories I've ever had from a party, and I really hope this person never sees this, so I won't say their name. But I was at a party once, and I met this girl, and I've never seen this girl again, but I think about her constantly, actually every time that I see a tomato, because she was walking around the party eating a steak tomato like it was an apple, and it sounded disgusting, and it looked disgusting, and she just kept on going. Like, there were seeds all over her chin, and she was super casual about it. Like, she wasn't wiping her mouth or nothing. It was something to behold, and something I hope I never see again. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna get I just keep going off on tangents. I'm so sorry, but we're gonna get back to this question while you process what I just told you, okay? What is the first horror video game you ever played? The very first one that I ever played was Resident Evil 4. That was the first one that I was ever introduced to, and it was super stressful and fun. I think I played it on the GameCube or something. Maybe PS2. It depends on whose house I was at. I think I got it for the GameCube after playing it on the PS2. But that was the first game that I ever played. And shortly after came one of my favorite games of all time called Haunting Ground. which I could talk forever about Haunting Ground. So I will try not to, but it was so, they'll never remake this game because it was so weird and, probably problematic at this point. But I loved it. It dealt with alchemy and, the, like, facing sexualization as a woman, which, you know, I didn't really grasp as a child, but it was just an extra layer of like fear that I was witnessing but could not like process. But it's a good game. We're gonna play it real soon. Because I've found it. I'm so glad you brought up Phasmophobia, because this is really embarrassing, but I have never played that game because it's too scary. It's too scary for me. It's too real, okay? I'm gonna get into this just a little bit later because it is on our list in the Q&A. But I was really scared of ghosts growing up. So I'm gonna let that one sit there for a minute, and we will circle back onto it, I promise. I promise. But I was really scared of ghosts growing up. Really, really scared. So that game, Phasmophobia, for whatever reason, like, gives me the heebie-jeebies. It's just like calling out to like things and being like, hey, where are you? What's your name? I'm like, I don't want to do that. What if something answers in real life? Ew. I live in a house that's over 100 years old. But I am willing to play it. I ended up playing it with one guy who he made that game not scary because he was so fucking funny. He was I should hit him up and see if he wants to stream that game, because he's probably the only one that I will ever play with. Maybe I will. I do have VR, so we could try it in VR, but only after I figure out what's wrong with my computer, because I do have a VR and I could absolutely stream in it, but for some reason every time I like try to run my VR, my computer crashes completely. And I don't know if it's the power supply or like the graphics card. We just got a new graphics card, but it's still crashing. So I don't know what that's about. My shit is like 800. I've got like an 800 something whatever power supply. So I don't know what's wrong. I haven't played Demonologist either. If it's anything like Phasmophobia, I haven't touched it. We're gonna face that fear together, and you're gonna hold my hand, 'cause I'm not doing that shit by myself. 'Cause I wouldn't be able to ease the tension, because I'd be scared. I'd be scared as hell. I'd be so scared. Yeah, just decipher all of my computer problems for me, why don't you? Yeah, thanks. No, you don't have to do that. I'll figure it out eventually. We're planning on bringing it to a place and trying to get it examined, because I do miss playing VR. I used to play fucking Half-Life Alyx all the time, and I want to relive that. It'd be super fun. Super fun. Let's go move on to the next question. What is one of the spookiest things you have ever heard? This question is very vague, and I'm not sure how to answer it. And when I heard it, I wasn't sure how to answer it either, but I have been thinking about it. And I'm gonna break it down into like a couple of different things. One of the scariest things that I have ever heard was a podcast called the Magnus Archives. That was such a well-written, and listen, okay? I am easily distracted. If you haven't gathered that already, I am very easily distracted. And it has been a struggle of mine always to listen to somebody talk when I can't look at them talking. I don't know what it is about them. I'll watch people talk, like I'll watch their mouths as they talk, and it helps me to pay attention to what they're saying. Otherwise my mind will just be like, oh, I remember when I started talking about things like that this one time. But the Magnus Archives was the first one that held my attention and really moved me. It scared me. It was very, very cool. I am currently listening to the Magnus Protocol. I am not caught up because me and my husband like to listen to it together, and our schedules have not aligned in a while. So I'm not caught up. But the Magnus Archives, super good. One of my favorite episodes is called The Sick Village. Those of you who have seen it probably know what I'm talking about. Those of you who have not seen the Magnus Archives, if you're into horror, I definitely recommend it. It deals with every category of fear. And not only does it do that, but it tells it in an interesting way where, first off, you're just listening to stories that are being read by this archivist who's working at a paranormal archive institution, basically. And he's like going through the files because they are horribly like misorganized, or disorganized, I should say. So he's going through them and trying to like label them, and he's also following up on them and seeing what could be proven through like actual documents and such. Like if he was like, oh yeah, like this he'll like read it and it'll like play out with this amazing sound design, and then at the end you'll hear him on his like little recording being like, this was alleged to happen on June of 1969, and according to police reports of the area, like this person went missing but nothing was ever recovered that could, you know, correlate this version of the story. And it ends up where these stories start kind of bleeding into the world. You start seeing, they're not seeing, but he starts unknowingly and knowingly interacting with characters and objects that he has researched in these stories, and it is very good. I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. It's crazy. Another one that I really like is The Bone Turner's Tale, which is a part of the Magnus Archives along with The Sick Village, which is my very top favorite. It is a podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. I deeply recommend it. I've heard it's similar to Welcome to the Night Vale. In a way, at least whenever I tell people that I really like it, they're like, have you listened to Welcome to Night Vale? Because you would like that one. So I think that they're like comparable in that sense. It is super good. You should absolutely watch it. If you're committed to it, I feel like you could get through it in like 2 months. I put a guy onto it, and he would listen to it while he was in the gym, and he would come back to me and be like, yeah, I'm on episode like fucking 250, and I'm like, you started this 3 weeks ago. What do you mean? So yeah, that's one of the spookiest things I've ever heard. Maybe another shorter story that is actually watchable. I don't know where you could watch it at this point. It used to be on Netflix, but it was something called The Curlian Frequency. Which was something that I really enjoyed. It was like this guy who was like a radio host, and he would be talking about how it was like okay, hold on, let me rewind a little bit. It was The Curlian Frequency was supposedly a radio station that like nobody knew where the radio station was or where it was broadcasting from. So it was like a complete mystery, right? But he would take callers and they would always be in distress from these like paranormal like, oh, I haven't seen it in so long. I wish I could accurately regale this to you, but it would be something that people would be in like paranormal situations that they couldn't handle, and a lot of the watch time for this was him like making his little broadcast and then putting a record on and going to help these people. So there was no dialogue if he was not right up against the mic, but it was awesome. I've never heard of Grimmer or Grimmist, but I love grim fairy tales, so I would absolutely watch that. I'm sorry it's so late where you are, Kara. Feel free to leave. Good night. But Curlian frequency, you know? If I had been asked this question, what is one of the spookiest things I've ever heard? When I was like younger, I wouldn't have been able to like single one out, because again, I was scared of everything. But there were camp stories that I was told as a kid that I absolutely believed, and they weren't like stories from a book. It would be like my friends and like peers talking about their own experiences with something scary. Like one guy, I guess, said that he had a moving clown Lego doll that would like move in the middle of the night, and that spooked the shit out of me. In my late teens, I went camping, and some of the campers were out of high school at the time, and they were telling me about something that they called the Whoop Whoop monster, where they were very well traveled, but they talked about how they were like hiking somewhere in winter, and they heard what sounded to be like the call of some kind of very large bird in the sky at where they were, and what it sounded like was whoop 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 whoop. And they were like, okay, someone's pulling jokes, someone's pulling pranks, silly little shit. But in this clearing that they had found, they were like, oh, okay, they were hunting, and they were following the deer tracks that were set out in the snow. I hope I'm remembering this right. And at some point, after they heard this like whoop whoop, these tracks started looking like skids. Like something was like skidding or being dragged along the ground. And they were hunting a big ass deer, okay? And then the tracks disappeared, which could only imply that this deer was lifted into the sky, and they never found the deer. They never found any more tracks. They never found where it could have hit the ground. All they heard was that whoop whoop, and it was gone. So that is something I was told at a campfire, and that spooked me very much. And they had also told me about one of the guys who is like very convinced that vampires are real because of a situation that he had. Juggalos, yeah, that's what lifted that deer up. There's this guy that at that campfire that was that swore up and down that vampires were not fiction because he had come across one in Michigan, North America in Michigan. He said that he was like walking home from the bar one night, and he basically, as he was walking along, there was like somebody who tried to like, there was like a man who like tried to stop and talk to him, and he was like, oh, whatever, I'm not really interested. And I'm kind of like, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the entire story. I remember the key points. So we're just kind of gonna go off my version, I guess. So he he like, you know, walks past the guy, and he, at some point while walking home, realizes that this guy is following him. And as he starts walking a little faster, this guy also starts walking a little faster. And mind you, this is a man in his 20s, okay? So he is not a prime target for like kidnapping or anything else, you know. He's not necessarily like a small man. So as he continues, at one point he just starts sprinting for home, and this guy is sprinting towards him and gaining ground. Okay, they're catching up. All right, and he ends up getting inside of his house and locking the doors, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna check all the windows and shit. He checks all the windows and locks them on the first floor. They were all locked, which is great. And he goes up to his second floor, and as soon as he gets up the stairs, there is in front of him a very long hallway. And at the end of the hallway is a window. And in this window, he can see this man staring at him through this second floor window, which was wild because there was nothing for him to stand on. It was the second floor. So he was scared shitless, right? And this guy smiles at him, and he has some fangs. So that's a little, you know, maybe it's real, maybe it's not. Will we ever know? I don't know. But now you've heard the story too. So please, when you're walking at night, please don't walk alone. It doesn't matter who you are, man or woman, how old you are, how big and tough you think you are, because there might just be vampires chasing you in the night. Another small horror story for you. I liked that question. Let's go on with another one. Yay! Okay. All right. What is your stance on ghosts / the paranormal? And I must tell you, as a woman of science, yes, I believe in ghosts. Yes. There's a corpse in Sweden that's a vampire. I want to go there. That's crazy. I believe in ghosts. Yes. I feel like they're just around. And I'll tell you all about it. Let's do a little deep dive, okay? I have many a story for you on this streaming journey to talk about ghosts. Do you guys believe in ghosts? I want to know. I want to know who I'm messing with here, because I'm not going to try to change your mind, but I'm just going to share my stories, okay? I'm preparing for the long yap. So, outside of streaming, outside of trying to make money, there is something that I really love to do, and it is ghost hunting. I haven't been doing it for long because for me it's kind of expensive. I'm kind of poor, and I'm sorry, but I do hope to do more in the future, and hopefully live stream while it's happening. That's like a horror movie now, isn't it? It's like every horror movie ever is like live streaming, going into a haunted house and then something happening to fucking fuck shit up. Yeah, 1 in the chat if you believe in ghosts, 2 in the chat if you do not believe in ghosts. Just so I know, I wanna see. So one of these ghost stories that I'll lay on you, I guess, is recently when my entire family is kind of scattered. We don't all live together, so it's kind of rare when yeah, see? Okay. It's pretty 50-50. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. A 3. Okay. You're so funny. You're clever. 3 in the chat if you would let a ghost peg you. All right, moving on. So, I'm seeing a lot of 3s, you guys. Hell yeah. I'm here for it. So, getting back on topic, I do ghost hunt quite a bit. I haven't been to many places. That's not what we were even talking about. Okay. Let me just gather myself. I made myself laugh and now I'm... All the 3s! The 3! Yeah! Hell yeah! My people! My people! I'm kind of a ghost, technically. What's good? What's good? So... my family is very scattered. Getting back on track, my family is very scattered. And it's kind of rare that we get to be all in the same place at the same time anymore. So whenever we do, my parents like to reminisce about how when we were young, right? And that's what my mother was doing for us. She would be like, she was like reminiscing about how my oldest sister was like a very like independent baby. Like she didn't really like need much growing up or something, and then she would move on to like everybody else. And I remember this vividly because it was so funny to me. She was just talking about how everyone was so cute when they were babies, and like how much we would like cry when she wasn't around and this and that. And I was like, what about me, Mom? Do you have any fun stories about me as a baby? And she was like, oh, you scared me. You creeped me out. And she said it like that. Like she was like, and Caitlin was the cutest little thing. I just loved the way that she would hold my thumb. And I was like, what about me? And she was like, you scared me. You creeped me out. And I was like, why? What did I do? I'm sorry. What did I do? And she'd be like, you'd be talking to people that weren't there. Bye, Nick. Bye. Have fun wherever you go. She would say that I would talk to people who were not there. And I would always be like looking, if she'd be talking to me and trying to interact with me, I would always be looking right over her shoulder and like giggling. And that freaked her out. And I'd always be like, I'd be in my crib talking to somebody and I'd be pointing and being, Mommy, who's that over there? Who is that? Oh, he's back. You know, like talking about these people who were absolutely not there. And as I got older, I remember seeing these things. One story that I will share with you here right now is my very first memory of seeing something paranormal, very vividly, to the point where I like knew that I was not asleep or dreaming or something weird like that. So I'm gonna take a sip and we will get started with our first paranormal ghost story regaling. It was a dark night, and I was 6 years old. I was 5 years old. Okay? My model's freaking out. She is seeing the paranormal right now. We are calling this memory in from beyond. Okay? Now listen. It was a dark night, and I was 5 years old. Did I share a room with Caitlin at this time? Yes, I did. Now on this night, I was having a very vivid dream. A dream that my neighbor friend, Samantha, was leaving my house. And so, of course, as she left, I decided to yell to say goodbye. I said, "Goodbye, Samantha." And I ended up yelling it in real life, and I woke myself up because of it. Because I remember being mid-scream when I like woke up being like, "Bye, Samantha! Where am I?" And I was confused because when I was having this dream, when she left, it was daytime. But when I woke up, it was the dead of night. And I was very confused. I sat up in my bed and I looked to my left. This was before we had bunk beds, so I look to my left and I see my younger sister asleep in her bed. And I look outside to my right. I was positioned to where, when I sleep, my bed was right next to the door. And if I pushed my door, I could open it and look outside into the hallway. I'm going to paint a little picture for you here because it will help you imagine what I was seeing that night. Now, the way that my house was set up when I was young was my bed right next to the door, okay, at the end of the hallway on the first floor. We only had a main floor and a basement at this time. My older sister, who was 2 years older than me, she slept in the basement. And again, I was 5, so she was 7, okay? She slept in the basement, which I could not see the door to. However, when I looked outside of my room, if I cranked my neck a little bit further, I could see a little further down the hall to my right was our bathroom. And that door was open, so I could see into the bathroom. If I looked to my left down the hallway, I could see the master bedroom where my parents slept, which the door was also open, and they were both asleep inside. All the way at the end of the hall, it opens up into our open concept living room and our kitchen. And at the very end of the hallway, actually lined up with the hallway, is the front door. So, now that you have that picture in your head, I will tell you the rest of the story. My oldest sister has entered the chat. And she also believes that there were things down there. And so do I. I was terrified of that basement bathroom. Anyway, everybody say hi to Lauren. Anyway, back to the story. I had screamed myself awake. And as I look to my left, I see my youngest sister. And she's fast asleep in bed. I look to my right, outside of my door, and I see my parents sleeping in their beds. And as I move down, my eyes move down the hallway. I come to meet the front door, but that is not all that I meet. I can see, standing there next to my front door, the shadow of an extremely tall figure. This figure is not moving. This figure is not human. And this is something that I found at the time. I remember thinking to myself, oh, that's just that guy. I can go back to sleep. He's not going to do anything. And so I did. And I remember this quite clearly. And that is my first paranormal story that I will share with you. I do believe in the paranormal. And that is one of the reasons why. That's one of my earliest memories of that I can remember seeing these things clearly. And it's fortunate that I remember also knowing that specific one was not a danger to me. Which means that I had seen some in the past that might have been. Very, very interesting. Interesting stuff. But yes, that first house was weird. I guess I would talk to my mom a lot about somebody in her room specifically, and she would get freaked out because I went in there once and she was sitting on her bed. And I waddled in as a baby, not a baby, but a baby that could talk, I guess, a young child, and being like, who's that? And she'd be like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, They're sitting on the bed with you. And at that moment, she felt the bed like depress a little bit, and she like got goosebumps, and she like shot out of there, and she like took me by the hand and dragged me out and closed the door. And I remember once getting like locked in there and nobody could open the door. And I don't even remember why. Like, I don't remember why it locked. So yeah, that's just it was a spooky house, and I feel like people that grow up in spooky houses have very different opinions about ghosts. My husband even is not, he doesn't believe in ghosts at all. And he comes ghost hunting with me because he loves it. And the last place that we went to also was very interesting. We got some interesting results from that I will tell you about some other time. How do you feel about that story? Did you get the goosebumps? Did I give you a little fright? Are you feeling a little sweaty maybe? Would I let a ghost peg me? Probably, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what the next thing is. Next question. Why and how did you become a seamstress? That's a great question. So when I was a young teen, I got really into cosplay because I'm a nerd. That's not even like a really nerdy thing. I feel like anime is very popular now, but back in the day, it just wasn't, okay? It's a little mainstream now, and I'm not trying to sound like a hipster, but, it was not, I was not cool. I was not considered a cool person, but, the cosplays that I wanted, like the people that I wanted to cosplay were obscure, to the point where I couldn't really find costumes of them that looked nice. So I got a sewing machine. I think my dad bought me one actually on the with the deal that I sew for him as well, because he's actually the one that got me into anime. The first anime that I ever watched was Rurouni Kenshin, and it was because my dad had Rurouni Kenshin on DVD, like the entire thing. So he was like, well, I'm gonna watch through this. You want to watch through? And little young me was like, yeah, Dad, let's do it. Let's watch this cartoon, Dad. And you know, at that point, all I had seen was like Pokemon and Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z and like Toonami stuff, but Naruto hadn't come around yet. And I wasn't really allowed to stay up that late, so I don't consider those anime either, because like I guess they technically are, but I never considered them as anime because I was young and I thought they were cartoons. But Rurouni Kenshin was the first one that I listened to or watched, and from there I developed very old taste for anime. We watched things like Slayers and Rurouni Kenshin, and then Naruto came out, and I was like, oh, this I'm a ninja bitch now. I like ninjas. Gaara? Are you kidding? You can see how Gaara influences me even today. God damn. Anyway, why I became a seamstress was because I couldn't find any places that sold costumes that I wanted to wear, so I decided that I would make one. And that actually led me to the music industry as well. Like, I've been singing my entire life, but I never really did anything with it because I didn't really know how to break into that industry. However, my sewing led me to start making costumes for an amazing artist that I had met. Her name is Sim1, if you were wondering. And I like made a little piece for her, and we became very good friends, and she gave me all of the resources that I needed to kind of start making music on my own independently. And ever since then, I've been flourishing. I've been trying to do my own shit, and it's very hard. And I have mad respect for anybody that can produce their own music, especially on something like a doll like Ableton Live. Like, it's very hard. It's very, very hard for me. I find it very daunting and inspiring. But ever since then, I still make my own outfits. They're not really cosplay anymore because I haven't had the money to go to conventions. But I make a lot of like stuff for my own performances still. So that's really cool. Anko was sick as hell. I loved Anko. Her like fishnet bodysuit with the trench coat. Oh my god, I do kind of look like that. She was hot. I loved her. I loved her a lot. Okay, let's see what the next one is. Who is one of your musical influences that someone wouldn't normally expect? That's an interesting question. Let's see. Probably choral music. I love harmonies. I love 4, 5, 6-part harmonies even, and I think my latest single specifically also reflects that. So I think choral music is something that influences me a lot, even when my music doesn't really sound like that. Yeah, that's a really short one too. A really, really short one. I don't really have much else to say about that. I grew up singing in choir for my entire young life, and it helped me to love shit like that. It's good shit. Good shit. What is your favorite genre of music? Ooh, I listen to a lot of music. I can't really pick out a favorite genre, I think, but I can tell you what I don't like, because I don't particularly like modern Western country music, because it's repetitive, and I don't really like death metal very much because I can't sing along. I can't really sing along, and I usually don't know what they're saying. So their music gives me not anxiety, but it overstimulates me if I can't like grab on to like the meaning of like why they are making the song, you know? So yeah, not to diss anybody that likes modern Western country music, like Devil Went Down to Georgia, peak country, okay? That is so good, so good. But like, I don't know. It got very, I feel like in 2001, everything changed for country music. And also My Chemical Romance was inspired to start, and that's what's important. Let's move on to the next one. What is my favorite band? It's another thing where like I can't just pick one, you know? I listen to so many different things, but my favorite, okay, let's break this down. Let me grab some water. Hold on. All right. My favorite musician is Patrick Stump. He's my favorite like singer from Fall Out Boy, Patrick Stump. And that's because there's absolutely nostalgia involved with that. Fall Out Boy was the first album that I got to choose by myself. Like that was the first music that my parents did not show me that I liked. So I bought From Under the Cork Tree, their first album, and I listened to it religiously, and that actually helped develop my voice to what it sounds like today. There's a part of me that feels like Patrick Stump taught me how to sing. He has a very soulful voice, and the riffs that he did, just it honed my my ear for like what I sound like, I guess. Yeah, deep cut. My favorite lyricist, my favorite like lyric writer would be Watsky. And if you know who that is, I'm your best friend, because no one ever fucking knows who I'm talking about whenever I say that. But Watsky has some fantastic music, and I think that he always has something like really cool to say, and like very profound things to say, and he says them in a really cool way. He's like a rapper, and he can rap really fast, but he also has a lisp, and he's very poetic, and I really appreciate that. I think he's fucking great. My favorite composer, like music composer, is Danny Elfman or Eric Whitacre. Danny Elfman composed all the like soundtracks for like Tim Burton movies like Beetlejuice or Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride even. He composed all of those. So I think he's incredible. Also, Eric Whitacre is a classic composer, especially for choral music. He's a genius. Kung Fu Panda robbed us of a very, very amazing Eric Whitacre piece that I guess I'll go off on a tangent for. Who knew we were gonna go here today? But Eric Whitacre was hired to compose a song for I want to say like a Dumbo type movie for Disney or DreamWorks about seals. And there is a scene where this mother and her baby seal are on this iceberg, and they're like surrounded by sharks. They're on like a lone iceberg surrounded by sharks, and she is singing to her baby seal. It's called A Seal's Lullaby, The Seal Lullaby. And it's a beautiful piece. We covered it in my choir, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I think about it constantly. I actually got to hear it in a very prestigious college choir singing it when I was a little older, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It gives me goosebumps. It's got me tearing up. It was just so good. However, they ended up axing the entire movie to do Kung Fu Panda instead. So they'll never get that. Metallica's tight as hell. Yeah. I can't sing along with Metallica though. I don't know if you guys know this, but I did become quite interested in metal, and in my hubris, I tried to teach myself how to metal scream. And while doing that, I was also working a job where I was shouting constantly and singing constantly, which put so much strain on my voice that I kind of lost it. I ended up like developing something called muscle tension dysphonia, which basically means that your entire your vocal folds, your esophagus, your entire larynx is like one giant cramp. And I would lose my voice so often, and my voice was so incredibly deep that I could hit notes that I should never be able to hit. And I worked really hard to get all that back, but now I'm like, oh, maybe I just shouldn't sing metal music. And I can't yell anymore, to the point where I can't yell constantly because I can rupture my vocal cords. So make sure you're going to a professional when you do shit like that, okay? I almost wrecked my voice forever, and I'm very, very lucky that I was able to put in the work to not let that happen to me. because my voice is everything to me. And I know I haven't even sang for you guys yet, but believe me, it's coming. I'm just sick right now, and especially now that it's vulnerable, I will not be fucking doing shit to, you know, jeopardize that. My favorite band of all time, though, does change often. But a few consistent and like constant bands in my life are System of a Down, Watsky, of course, the edgy emo trifecta. Okay, and if you don't know what that is, it is Fall Out Boy, it is My Chemical Romance, and it is Panic at the Disco. And then, okay, this next one might surprise you, but it's Baby No Money. Baby No Money is one of my favorite rappers. He's silly and stupid, and he gets me hype. It's just like my favorite movie quote. If I need to go anywhere, I'm like, all right, I don't really want to go here. Let's put on Baby No Money. I don't know. I hope he sees this someday. Yeah, I couldn't sing high. I couldn't belt. I lost my entire belting range for 3 months. And it was right around the time that like Chappell Roan and Sabrina Carpenter were all coming out with like new songs and shit. And I was like, I'm so pissed that I can't sing along with this right now. It was very soul crushing. I think I cried every day. What's my favorite song by Baby No Money? Ooh, I don't know. Resume is pretty good. That's one that comes to mind. When am I collabing with Baby No Money? Hit him up. Where's he at? He'll collab with Young Gravy. But he won't collab with Young Lilith. Lil Leerie. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. You don't have to look up Baby No Money. Thank you for your concern for my voice. I do appreciate that. But you don't need to worry. I promise I'm a lot better now, and I've had lots of vocal rest, and I'm staying hydrated. Make sure you are staying hydrated, okay? So next question is, who are your top 3 artists of 2024? I had to like dig into my fucking Spotify Wrapped for this, which I'm sure was the point, but to make a long story short, my 3 top artists, I bet you can guess the first one, is Baby No Money. After that, it is Sleep Token, who I've been getting into. I'm actually working on a little cover for you guys with Sleep Token now that my voice is better. It's been in the works for like 9 fucking months or something. It's been in the works for what feels like 9 fucking months, but I haven't been able to sing, so I haven't been able to do that. But I am better now. So Sleep Token's the second one, and then the third top artist is Takayan, who I love also. Takayan is super nice. Yeah, who knows Sleep Token up in here? Hell yeah. I love Sleep Token. I think they have a lot of excuse me. Also just a very good lyricist. I feel like Vessel is a very good lyricist, and they have a lot of variety of different music, and he can belt and I can belt, and while I can't scream anymore, I think there's still some potential for me to fake it in a way. So I was in your Spotify Wrap. Ooh, that's so lovely. Thank you so much for listening to my music. For those who don't know, I do make music, and I am on Spotify. You can look me up if you want. Let's keep going. I can't do a shameless plug, you know? We're using the chat for Sleep Token. Hell yeah. What are your top 3 songs for 2024? My top 3 would be Sexy Villain by Remy Wolf. That song I love. I also wanted to do a cover of it, so I listened to it. I think the first oh my god. You're about to see how my brain works right now, but I listened to Sexy Villain by Remy Wolf 112 times in a row so that I could play it in my head perfectly in order to like figure out how I wanted to cover it. So that's what I did. So it's my top song of 2024 because of that. After that, it's Aqua Regia by Sleep Token and Granite by also Sleep Token. I really like those songs. I think that they're sick as hell. Yeah, I don't know. My music taste is all over, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. It comes with being a well-rounded cryptid, okay? You come from all walks of life. I don't know how long that is. Maybe it's 3 hours. I felt like longer. Brain rot indeed. That's just, you gotta squeeze every last bit of dopamine in there, you know? And I was like, this song, I don't hate it yet. Let's just keep it rolling. Repeat. Again. Again, you know? I fucking love Sleep Token, of course. Of course. Wait, I've never heard of him actually. Okay, let's go to the next one. What is your most listened to album of 2024? This was harder to like pin down because I don't really listen to albums anymore in whole. The only one that I can think of that I listened to in its entirety was Kim Dracula's debut album. So I'm gonna go with that one. That is the album that I listened to in its entirety in 2024. Was Kim Dracula. And I'm not sorry. Let me tell you something about Kim Dracula. I'm gonna turn every question into like 15-minute answers. Kim Dracula. I was introduced to by my husband. Okay? And the way that he introduced him was because my husband went to a Metallica concert that had Avenged Sevenfold and Kim Dracula as a part of the concert. And when he came home from the concert the next day, he was like, yo, so the openers for the Metallica concert that I went to was ass. It was absolute trash. I have to show you. And he put on Make Me Famous, and he he was like grilling it before putting it on. He was like grilling the entire, like, he was like, their stage presence was awful. I didn't know what was going on. Nothing was great, and da 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 da. And I was like, okay, well, and he was like, yeah, I just need you to like experience what I experienced because it was so incredibly bad. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And he puts on Make Me Famous, and I listened to the whole song, and I was like, hey, that kind of slapped. And he was like, he I can't tell you like how disappointed he was in me. Like he was like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like there's no fucking way that you find this good. And I'm like, what about the little like 0.2 second saxophone doodle doots that they put in there? That was crazy. That went hard. And I ended up listening to the song again in my own spare time without him, and like read the lyrics, because I don't know what the fuck you're saying until I read the lyrics. I'm sorry. But after that, I like looked up the music video, and I watched the music video now that I knew that they were, well, like what he was saying in Make Me Famous. And I really liked it. I really liked it. And it got to the point where I dragged my husband into the room and I was like, you're gonna watch this music video with me and I'm gonna put on like the closed captions so you can know what he's saying. And he's like, you're not fucking putting me through Kim Dracula again. This is not happening. And he ended up being like, these lyrics do go kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie. And I ended up listening to the entire album and finding like a bunch of songs that I liked. I was like, damn, Kitty Kitty is really good. Fucking Land of the Sun is super good. I really like Are You? And it got to the point where I just like, Killdozer? Are you kidding me? Killdozer, I spammed so hard that now my husband can't help but like Kim Dracula. He has no choice and he thanks me for it every day. He's like, damn, remember when I thought Kim Dracula was trash? And I was like, yeah, you have no taste, bitch. Hell yeah. I love Kim Dracula. I like Kim Dracula. So there's that. There's that tidbit for you. Iron Maiden, I can't think of a song that I've listened to by Iron Maiden. I'm sure my husband loves them though. He's a huge metalhead, huge. He covers my metal listening time. Yeah. Pantera he loves. I love Sublime. I know that's not really a metal thing, but Pantera for some reason always reminds me of Sublime. Just the name. I'm not sure why. Yeah. Have you ever listened to Vocaloid? Yeah. Yes, I have. I grew up watching Vocaloid and loving Hatsune Miku. World Is Mine was like my favorite song ever growing up. I'm not sure why I loved Akita Neru's design so much. She's not even like I've like figured out recently that she's not even like an official character. But for some reason, I had a thing for side ponytails and yellow when I was really young. Don't judge me, I was very young. But I fucking loved World Is Mine, and I was obsessed. Ooh, you know those little like, okay, they were like Vocaloid PVs, okay, and I remember like ripping them off of the internet and illegally downloading them onto my iPod when I was like a kid, and it was like things like Kaito's Cantarella and like The Daughter of Evil and like Kagome and Alice Human Sacrifice. You know? Do you remember those? Come on, you gotta remember. You gotta remember. I've never heard of Nightcore. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'll look into that though. That seems like something I might be into. Yeah. Okay, thanks. I'm not the only one that remembers. Me and my little sister were obsessed. Okay, we really like Vocaloid. We'd pretend to be Vocaloids. God damn it. What is your favorite cryptid? I have so many. My earliest favorite cryptid, the one that I was like obsessed with first, was the Loch Ness Monster. Because, you know, I have thalassophobia, and the thought that there was a like prehistoric dinosaur monster lurking around in a lake was very interesting to me. And you know, being a young child with internet access, I would do my own research, and I would do deep dives and watch little like proof of the Loch Ness Monster YouTube videos and think that I like cracked the case for how fucking if the Loch Ness Monster was real or not, because they found a dolphin carcass or something, you know, like it was amazing. After that, I feel like some of my other favorites, I don't know if this counts, but skinwalkers are super fucking cool. They're, you know, part of the Native American culture. Cryptid monsters from Navajo culture, I think. But they're shape-shifting witches. That's so cool. And they're shapeshifters, okay? That's scary, all right? The Wendigo is another favorite. I think the another Native American folklore as well, but it's terrifying to think that there's like a spirit that that can like change you if you get too hungry and you're out in the mountains and you're with people. The spirit of the Wendigo can possess you and turn you into this creature that like eats all of your friends and commits cannibalism and stuff. Yes. Doing deep dives, fake thalassophobic. Yeah. Deep internet dives, bitch. Shut up. Another cryptid that I really like, that seems like more of a recent one, is the Hat Man. The Hat Man. Ooh. He's like the Benadryl paralysis demon. He's the thing that you see when you take too much Benadryl, which I don't think I've ever needed to take Benadryl like that. I just go to sleep when I take Benadryl. But apparently that's something people see. Also Stingy Jack, which is a cryptid who is supposedly the origin of jack-o'-lanterns. He is the he's like the, so he was like a man, right? He was a man that somehow tricked the devil in a duel or a bet or something, and he his punishment for that was to walk around for the rest of time, but his head was turned into a carved turnip with a flaming ember inside, which is where we get jack-o'-lanterns from, which is why they're called jack-of-lanterns, which is a segue into my last favorite cryptid, which is what I am based around, which is a will-o'-wisp, will-o'-the-wisp, which is another, which is what we called jack-o'-lanterns here in North America as well. Like when we would see ghost lights, we would call them jack-o'-lanterns. Which a will-o'-the-wisp is a small ghostly flame that is normally seen in the forest and would disappear when you got close, but it would end up leading you further into the forest, or sometimes out of danger, or some say that it could lead you to something that you really want. And I think that's really cool. We're gonna go to the next one here. What is your favorite urban legend? Ooh, I can't wait to talk about this. I do need a moment though. I will be right back. Sorry, my cat was fucking around. Possessed. What happened? What happened? What's happening? Oh, okay, there she is. Here I am. Sorry about that. I was just remembering something super traumatic. What happened? Was it like that the whole time? That's hilarious. Incredible. That's spooky. Ooh. I do live in a very, very old house, but I don't feel off. That's another story for another time, but I have a story about that. Anyway. I was meandering. What do you mean? Ooh, when this ends, I'm gonna look back and see what was happening. That's crazy. Whoa. Okay, so what is my favorite urban legend? This is such a hard question. A lot of these like favorite ones are very hard because I've never been able to like pick just one thing. It's always either constantly changing or like there are things that are just on par with other things. So the popular urban legends that were around when I was growing up was the clown doll at the babysitter's, you know. The babysitter is watching two children and she sees this clown statue in the house that she's babysitting for, and she's like, that's really weird, I don't really like that, but whatever. And when she puts the kids down to bed, she gets a call from the parents and they're like, we're on our way home soon, like how is everything? And she's like, oh, it's just fine, your kids are in their beds right now, but you know, the clown statue is just freaking me out a little bit. It gave me a scare when I first got here. And the parents are like, what clown statue? We don't have a clown statue. And she goes back into that room and realizes that the clown statue is now gone, and so are the children. So that was an urban legend that was growing up, or that was around when I was growing up. Oh, hey, Lauren, I do have some good stories. Yeah, we'll go over them. I should have my sisters on stream and we can talk about how creepy I am at some point. At least my older one, maybe my younger one. She's too cool for me. Another urban legend that was around was like the chupacabra, or like alligators in sewers, which definitely kept me out of the sewers when I was young. I was small enough, I could have slipped right in there, but I wouldn't because alligators really fucking scare me. Bermuda Triangle was fun growing up, and Bloody Mary was another one that, you know, that's like a slumber party urban legend, you know. Ones that I like now in my life are the elevator game. I just find that very cool, and every time I'm in an elevator I think about it and I'm like, man, if other people didn't need to use this elevator, I'd play that game right now and I'd talk to that lady. Robert the doll was always very interesting to me. He was like the doll of a painter or something. I don't quite remember, but he was a haunted doll, basically, that if you disrespected him in any way, if you made a comment about how he looked or anything like that, he would like bad luck would befall you. I have heard of La Llorona. That is another one that's really cool. I wasn't really introduced to that one until I was a little bit older. But very cool story. If I ever hear wailing in the night and I'm near a river, I'll know it's her, you know. The Teke Teke is also pretty cool. We love a bisected woman. But I guess one of my all-time favorite urban legends, which I hope, you know, I hope I can achieve this status someday, because I feel like it's an honor. I feel like it's an honor for people to think that you are part of this. But the Illuminati, they don't count as a cryptid, I don't think, because it's like an organization. But the Illuminati, it's so interesting to me to think about how there are people who mistrust the world so much that it's easy to believe that we have people who have sold their souls to the Illuminati and now have become lizard people that feast on the blood of children. When I was younger, there was a YouTube channel that I watched, because I thought it was so interesting the way that this guy thought. And it was called Dead Celebrities and the Illuminati. And it was all about how this one guy would speculate on how different celebrities have changed their gender, have changed their faces, have been cloned and have been dead for years and have been cloned, and the Illuminati are posing as them in order to indoctrinate more people. And I thought that was really interesting and also very funny. To me, it was very funny, and I don't condone, making fun of anyone for their beliefs or anything, but when you're taking pictures of people who are from 15 years apart, and one of them is like a grainy paparazzi photo, and then comparing it to like a present day photo that is like professionally shot for like a magazine or something, and being like, look at how smooth their skin is, or like look at their lips are plumper than they were before, and like this is definitely the work of the Illuminati, because this person actually used to be a woman and now they're posing as a man. You can tell by the way that they stood in these pictures. And I'm like, this is this is something else. And I feel like the last artist that was ever like really rumored to be a part of the Illuminati, like to that extent, was Lady Gaga. And I think that we need to go back to that. I want weird famous people that are so weird and so successful that you think that they're a lizard person wearing the skin of a dead person. That's incredible. Incredible. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Okay. Do you have any unforgettable childhood memories? Yes, I do. I have several, actually. I will regale you with them. We're almost done, by the way. Don't worry. So, the first memory that I will share with you was when this is one of my earliest memories in general, actually. It's when I was 4 years old. And whatever you have to say about like young kids and their memory, like fuck you. I was 4 years old and I remember that. Because this was so dumb, I could not have been 5. I loved Tic Tacs. I loved mint Tic Tacs so much, to the point where I wanted to smell them all day. So when I was 4, I came up with the Einstein equivalent brilliant ass idea of putting one up my nose so I could smell it all day. And as soon as I did, maybe like a minute later, I went, and it got stuck. It got stuck up into my sinuses, and I panicked. I panicked very hard. I was like, I remember my parents having to like dig up my nose with tweezers because it wouldn't come out. And I spent the next 6 years, I'm not fucking kidding, until I was 10, because I remember putting it up there, but I don't remember them getting it out. I don't remember getting it out. So for the next 6 years, I thought it was still up there until one day we went to some random ass Mexican restaurant and I was telling the waitress about it because I was 10 years old, you know, and she told me about how I definitely didn't have a Tic Tac up there because it would have melted. And then she told me about how her, you know, toddler acquaintance stuck a bean up his nose and then it sprouted and they couldn't get it out because it took root in his nasal cavity. And I never shoved, I mean, I hadn't shoved anything up my nose since the Tic Tac and I wasn't considering it, but it was cemented now that I would never put things up my nose that did not belong there. Nothing belongs up there, by the way. So that's my first unforgettable memory. I'll remember it forever. Yeah. A bean up your nose and you can't fucking get it out. That's awful. The next one, I must have been like 7. Because I remember that I wasn't old enough to like take a bath or shower alone. Because I would use too much shampoo and conditioner and like I couldn't wash myself properly. However, I was 6 or 7 and I woke up at 4 a.m. It was definitely too early to be awake at this time. However, I had to wake up because something had happened, and something that I would remember for the rest of my life, apparently. I woke up, and my face was sticky, and I couldn't figure out why. And as I rolled onto my back on my pillow, my hair was like stuck to my pillow. And as I peeled myself up off of my pillow, and I ripped my hair off of, you know, the pillow, and I unstuck my little stuffed animal to my chest. I looked down at my stuffed animal in my hands, and it was covered in something dark. So there was something obscuring it. So I get up and I like go towards the window, and I realized that it was covered in blood. And so was I. My pillow, my hair was soaked in it, and not only was it soaked, it was actually dried. Think of like laying down and then spraying your hair with fucking hairspray. It was like stuck in place where it was through blood. It was all over my face. And it turns out I had gotten a very bad bloody nose. Who knows why, but I had a bloody nose and it fucking wrecked me. So I woke up in the middle of the night covered in my own blood, and I had no idea what to do. So I walked in to my mom and dad's room and I woke them up, and I was like, hey, I got a bloody nose. And they couldn't see me, so I don't blame them. But they said, honey, it's too early for this. Go back to bed. And I tried to like let them know, like, hey, it's all over me. Like I need to take a bath, or I need to take a shower or something. But it wasn't to be. So I just laid back down and tried to go back to sleep until it was early enough for my dad to get up, I think, and he ended up helping me wash my hair and my face. So that was the night I spent in my own blood as a young child. One of my other unforgettable memories, I know, yeah, at least they're not vampires. That is correct. Because I would have been done for. They would have been like, why is it not still bleeding? Another unforgettable memory. This might be hard for some people to listen to. This is going to be a bit gory. So I appreciate it, and I hope that you're prepared for that, because I was a very active child with a lot of unfortunate things happening. So, let's get right into it. There I am, 6 years old in our first house, the one that had the shadow people, of course. I'm sitting in my big sister's room, and there's this vanity that had been, it was like a vanity where you could, it was like a desk, and the lid of the desk ended up being the mirror. And it had been nailed shut for whatever reason, but it wasn't nailed anymore. We had like pried it back open. Yeah, your bedroom, Lauren. So I'm pretty sure it was your bedroom. It wasn't the other bathroom. So these shadow people did not pay rent, by the way. They were just kind of there. Whatever they were doing, they were just hanging out, scaring us. So the vanity, right? Yeah, Lauren wasn't here for this one. I snuck into her room and I was playing with this vanity, and I was pretending to put on makeup, and I had my hands on the very edge of the desk, and I turned away from the desk, and the lid had shut very suddenly onto my hand, onto one of my fingers, in fact. So, I don't feel any pain, but I do hear the noise. I do hear a very loud smack, which is the vanity closing. And as I turn around to look at the vanity, I notice that my finger is still inside the desk. So I pull my hand away, and immediately I feel a searing hot pain in my right pinky finger, and it starts gushing blood. Still, at this point in my life, I have still never seen so much blood than I did on that day at 6 years old. So I grabbed it and I like held it because I didn't know what else to do. And I ran up the stairs to my mother, who was on the phone at this point. And my mother, when we were young, ran a daycare. She ran a daycare, and all of the kids were there. And my dad was at work. So she's on the phone, trying to get, a little bit of whatever she was fucking doing on the phone away from the kids. I run through all of the kids and I get to her while she's on the phone, and she's like, oh, I can't talk right now. And I just started screaming at her. Like, no words, just like vocalized primal screaming. And she turns around and she sees my finger, because the tip of my pinky is gone. Not just the fingernail. What I could see was nothing but blood exiting a gaping wound with a little bit of bone poking out. So the very tip, the skin and the flesh and the nail of my finger were all ripped off of my pinky. And I think at that point, I remember her hanging up the phone, and what I remember next is maybe I blacked out, but I like came to with the EMT. I'm like propped up against the front door. The front door is open, and all of these kids that my mother has been watching are crowded around me while the EMT is wrapping up my finger and telling me how brave I am. It is just shorter than the rest of my fingers even now. I think it's missing, like, the tip is there and the nail is back, but it's noticeably shorter. But one of the poor fucking kids, the oldest one from the daycare group, ended up having to go and get the dismembered part of my finger from the downstairs and put it in a baggie for the hospital. And yeah, my grandma had to drive to our house at the time and watch the kids so that my mom could take me to the hospital. And for show and tell, for the next 3 weeks, I would just take my bandage off and show everybody in class. And they did ask me to stop doing it, but I was like, yo, my pinky doesn't have any skin on it right now. You want to see? Like, hey, my bone is visible right now. Do you want to see? And I just kept doing it every show and tell, at least once a week. It was yeah, I really wanted to keep it. I remember asking, like, where's the other tip? I want to see it. Where's the tip of the pinky? But I never got to see it. I think they threw it away. I would have kept it. I would have kept it. Would have kept it if I could. Cursed missed opportunities if I'd been a little older. Damn. Yeah, so there's another one. And I think I already told you I was scared of everything. So I don't need to tell you all those. However, they did not sew it back on, no. That shit was gone. It was too small to sew back on. It was just a little bit of the bone that went with it. Yeah. I saw a girl cut off her pinky with a table saw. Ooh. Ooh. That seems like it would be maybe cleaner. That seems like it would have taken longer though. My God. The nail is back. Yeah, it's fine and it's a fully functional pinky. It's just a little shorter than the other one now. Maybe by like 2 or 3 centimeters. I guess I don't really know how much a centimeter is because I'm a dumb American. Jujutsu Kaisen, yeah. Hell yeah. Is the end of your finger hard from the bone? No, it has a little bit of padding, but it's definitely like... It definitely had to like grow a little bit more, so it's a little weird. I don't know. Like the nail, if it grows long, it'll start to like hook under itself. It's a little round. It's damaged, absolutely. 2.5 centimeters is an inch? Yeah, maybe like half a centimeter is gone then, because it is not that much. It's not even half an inch that's gone. I still have like 3/4 of the pinky tip. So, if that's any visual for you. Anyway, my last and final unforgettable childhood memory that I will tell you about is when I was very young. I can't really put an age to this. I'm not sure how old I was. I must have been like 5. But as we now know, if you've been listening, my parents, from the time that we were very babies, really, ran daycare at our house. And when I was 5, I really liked the Teletubbies, okay? I love the Teletubbies, and one thing that I had from the Teletubbies was a red Teletubby. His name's Poe. I had a Poe stuffed animal, basically, that was way bigger than I was. It was like a giant stuffed animal. And I would hang him from the ceiling and use him as a punching bag. And when that got boring, one day I decided to take him down and make a small hole that I could fit in the back of Poe. And I climbed inside and I wore him like a suit, and I ran around the basement, and I scared the children, the younger children, causing general mayhem and chaos. So that's those are my unforgettable childhood memories. Yeah. There is I was a little shit. I was a tiny kid, okay? I was like 6. I mean, I was 5 years old, but I was tiny like 6 from Little Nightmares, you know? Yeah. I was a difficult fucking child. Shout out to my mom and dad and my older sister, because they definitely needed another parent in there, and she took that mantle. Yeah, the shenanigans never cease. I think my catchphrase, that, because I'm gonna say this a lot, the horrors persist, but so do we, you know? And that's something I've always been a little shit, I guess. And I still am, I suppose. Moving on. What inspired you to start VTubing? You guys. Although I thought the idea of it was very fun and it aligned with my interests, I felt for a long time that I wasn't really capable of entertaining. I wasn't capable enough to entertain in this line of work. I was afraid that maybe my interests were too niche, and I still have a lot of fears that I'm not well spoken enough to kind of do this kind of thing. And obviously I still have many fears to face, and this choice of work is definitely one of them. But I am very grateful to you guys for sticking around, and to have you around and chat with me and give me advice and be enthusiastic about what are arguably going to be the worst dreams of my career, because they are the earliest. So I hope that with streaming I can return the favor to you guys and support you and how I feel supported by you. I really appreciate you guys, truly. But thank you. I'm glad that you guys are here with me. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you guys are truly having fun, especially with just the yapping. I have a lot of stories to tell, and I'm glad that I've found people that enjoy the niche of horror and wholesomeness, I guess. I'm not very wholesome, but I would like to be. I would like to be nicer to not only myself, but patient and kind to those around me. But I'm also a little shit, as we know. Do I think of joining a VT Corpo in the future? I don't know. Maybe. But I don't know. That doesn't seem... I got asked that a lot when I was a singer as well. Like, hey, why don't you sign with a label? And it seems like something that I would not align with well. I'd have to do more research about it. I'm glad you like the yapping, though. Hell yeah. Yay. Yeah, you can just put me on in the background when you're cooking, cleaning, doing anything. Put me on when you're going to sleep, and I can lull you there into your deepest, darkest nightmares. Especially once we do our scary stories together. What inspired your model? I'm so glad someone asked me this. It's will-o'-the-wisps and demons. I've always been a demon bitch. I was raised Catholic, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Definitely nothing wrong with that. But I am not anymore. But one thing that has stayed with me is, you know, the Catholic aesthetic. If the Catholics did anything right, it's the aesthetic. The churches are beautiful. The paintings are beautiful. And the demons and angels are sick as hell. And I've always loved a good demon look, I guess. And at some point, my family figured out that we're quite Scottish. For a long time, we thought we were, we didn't really know what we were because one of my grandfathers, the only one that we have actually, was like a chronic liar. And every time we asked him, like, hey, what are you? He would lie. He would just make up shit. And it was every time. So we didn't really know our origins or where we really came from. So when we figured that out, I did a lot of research into that because I kind of wanted to connect with that. I thought it was interesting. And after being not being able to really immerse myself in any culture that I knew was mine or I knew related to me in some way, I've found Scottish shit, and I thought it was really cool because a lot of like witchcraft and monsters and like horror folklore come from Scotland. And Will-o'-the-Wisps was one of those things that I really latched onto and was like, damn, these things are cool. They're little ghost lights and shit. And I wanted to create a character that kind of was a combination of these interests of mine. Obviously, I have more, but I wanted to create something that I identified with, which was, Scottish cryptid, and one of my favorite things, which is demons. So that is what's happening. Yeah. That is what has inspired me. I also, I don't know, I draw a lot of characters, and I draw a lot of like fashion stuff, and this is not very fashiony. It's something that, I would wear, but I want my model to be really cool in the future. Yeah, Fae are crazy. What do you hope to achieve in 2025 and beyond on this streaming journey? A fantastic question, and actually our last one of the evening, so I will try to drag it out as long as possible. Short term for this year, my goals are I have a lot of them, honestly, and I don't know if I can get to them all, because right now I am in between jobs, so I have the time. But if I get a job, I got a mortgage to pay. So I might not be able to achieve everything that I had been hoping for this year. But I think that these are very achievable, job or not. So we're gonna try to get there. Short term for this year, my goals are to make at least 3 song covers. Okay, I think that that's doable. I want to do a lot of karaoke. I want to play some horror games that stress me out, not just ones that I'm comfortable playing, like Little Nightmares. I think it'd be really, really fun to do a, like solve a crime with you guys. Like, I love murder mystery parties, and I love, like, whodunit activities. So I think it'd be really fun to do one and include you guys, and maybe like do some collaborations where I can do those with like more people. I would also like to collaborate with at least one other person and figure out the biggest thing that I want out of this year is to figure out how to include my split tongue on this model, like on my VTuber model. I think that would be sick as hell. I don't know how that would work, but I want to make it happen. Long term, I would love to host more murder mystery and crime solving parties. That's something that I do in my, like, day-to-day life. One of my anniversaries I threw a murder mystery party, and it was a whole ordeal. It costed so much money and I cooked for all of it, and it was like 3 courses. But yeah, split tongue tracking. That'd be so fucking cool, man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, let's stop on that for a minute. I do have a split tongue. If we have any questions about that, now's the time to ask them. I don't know about Blood on the Clock Tower, but I'm glad that Lauren would be down for our murder mystery stream. Subscriber goals. That's a good one. I didn't think about that. I'd like to get to at least, like, I think 10,000 would be nice, right? Is that achievable? I'm not really sure how it would work for an indie VTuber, and I can't imagine me having 10,000 of anything, but I think maybe 10,000 would be fine. I can taste in the split. I have many piercings, yes. Some of them you can't and will never see. Sorry. I've had a split tongue for a little over a year now. And sometimes when I talk too fast, you can still hear me whistle. It did hurt to get it split, but the healing process was worse. How do I avoid infections? Well, you can't. You have to eat an all liquid, all alkaline diet and wash it really well. Yeah, it healed in like 5 days, but it was the worst 5 days of my whole life. I love to eat, and I couldn't eat anything but chicken broth, and I wanted to die. My husband had a fucking slice of pizza with black olives on it, and I was so jealous I almost started crying, and he gave me 1 black olive slice, and I was so happy. I was brought to tears. I can't describe to you how hungry I was. I did have to relearn how to talk. I did have a lisp, an R and an S lisp for like a month. Even now, still, some people are like, oh, I can still hear your lisp. I can still hear you, like, hissing a little bit. You can't say your S's anymore. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You wouldn't have known if I hadn't told you, so shut up. Yeah, nobody knows unless I actually show them in real life. Like, I had clients that had known me for, like, 3 years. Or had, you know, and obviously I didn't have a tongue split for 2 of those years, but they had no idea that I had a tongue split until I, like, stuck my tongue out for them. How long does it take? 30 minutes? Yeah. I can detect differences in heat. Detect scent in the air. I don't know. Can you do that with 1 tongue? I didn't know that. Whistling. Whistling is fine. I can't whistle very loud, but I never could. But the 2 things that I think have suffered the most are I'm a super loud eater now, and it's really hard to blow a bubblegum bubble because every time you try to, like, you know, you have to spread the gum out on your tongue to, like, make a sheet, and it slips in between the tongues. So, and I do have to brush between the tongue. These are great questions, everyone. These are great questions. What is my lore? That's a really good question. Thank you for asking. My lore is that I am a creature in the wooded area, and how you have come across me is you are wandering through the forest following the will of the wisps. However, these wisps, as they disappear and reappear and lead you further and further into the forest, they end up collecting around me, and I adorn my horns with them so that I can then take you with me on a journey, on an adventure per se, because these woods are no ordinary woods. They are filled with fears and horrors that I can guide you through. Yeah. So I'm like a candelabra for the will-o'-the-wisps. Yeah. Oh shit! Oh shit. Oh no! When did it go? Oh no. Uh-oh. That's not good. When did we stop? What did you hear? What did you not? Are we down again? I'm not even sure. Here, let's go. Oh no. Are we back? Okay. Oh no. We just get to sit here and smile and wait for YouTube to figure their shit out. And we're back. We're back again. Okay. For the love of fuck. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna try and answer this last question. So, I want to play D&D because I've only really played it with, in my youth when I was a shy and quiet person. And now, like, I think it might be better if I have friends to play with instead of complete fucking people that I shouldn't have been hanging around. I want to do a cover of an entire musical and collaborate with other streamers and friends to complete it. I think it'd be fun to do like Sweeney Todd or something, because I really love that musical. I want to learn Japanese. I feel like that's another really, you know, obvious one that a lot of YouTubers want, but it's a goal I've had since I first saw Rurouni Kenshin. I love Japan, and I love, I would, if I were to ever go there, I wouldn't want to be a dumb fucking tourist that can't navigate. And, back when I was in school, we offered 2 language options to learn. One was Spanish, which I had a very fucking hard time with in my earlier years, and in my later years in high school, I switched to learning Chinese, which was much, much easier for me to learn for some reason. So I have the smallest knowledge of Mandarin Chinese that I can speak. I couldn't break out any of it because, you know, it's not good. Or I guess as they would say, what a zhongwen bu hao, but that's literally all I got at this point, is how to apologize and say that my Chinese sucks. It's really bad. But I just can't learn languages that already are too close to English, because they like clash in my brain. But if I had something that is nothing like English, I feel like it'd be way better to learn. Yeah. You can't just tell me that the alphabet that I've been using my entire life doesn't sound that way, okay? It's easier for me to learn a new alphabet. And the last thing that I want to do is to, I just want to, like, build a community that can rely on each other and help each other, like, to face our fears, big or small, and celebrate little wins in the midst of complete darkness. I talk about this not on the internet, but ever since 2020, the middle circle has been dying. And if you're not sure what that means, you know, like, humans are supposed to have a community that we can go to. One is our inner circle, which is our family and our friends. One is our middle circle, which is our, like, the people that we see every day, that we might not, like, talk to every day, but we see them every day, and we can like kiki and chat with each other. And then your outer circle, which is like people that you don't normally talk to, but if you see them, you're friendly with. And we don't have that anymore. We don't have a market square. I don't go to church, which is most people's middle circle. It's becoming more apparent more and more that people don't converse in public spaces. And I think that that's really important for not only your, like, mental health, but also for your developmental growth as a person. You can't grow as a person if you don't have outside opinions, and if you don't have lots of people that you can talk to. And I think that this is the perfect place for a middle circle. Even now I see in chat people greeting each other that, you know, you might know each other from another chat room, and fans of things that you've seen before. So I do think that it's important, and it's something that I'd love to be a part of, and that I'd love to that I'd just love to be a part of. I don't know what I'm trying to say at the end here, but I'm once again very grateful for all of you to be here with me and listen to me talk and yap and respond to me. And I'm glad that you guys also kind of understand what I'm talking about community and middle circles. And dang, you can play D&D at a local library? Woohoo! That's crazy. I've been looking for a D&D party. Not shouting it from the rooftops or anything, but I've been looking. Yeah. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. I'm so sorry you missed most of everything, but you can always watch the VOD. Thanks, Minnie Moon. I appreciate you. Very nice. Yeah, outside opinions are very important for your growth as a person. If you can't, like, face the shitty parts of yourself and can't be told when you're being shitty, or, you know, that you need to grow from something, then you never will, and you'll just stay stuck in this space of wondering why you're like this, and then assuming it's not your fault. And that's very unhealthy. You have to look at yourself, kind of like the lady from Little Nightmares. You have to confront yourself. Yeah, I really hope that this community can blossom into something wonderful and exciting. I'm very excited to see where we go. I love you guys very much. Yeah, check your friends. When they're doing something wrong, you have to tell them. I know it's not your responsibility, but as a friend, that kind of is your responsibility. When they do something wrong, when they are doing some questionable things towards women or something, you gotta be able to, like, tap them on the shoulder and be like, hey, That's not fucking cool. Or like when they're saying shit that's like absolutely not okay, you have to let them know. Because if you don't, they're never gonna learn, or they're gonna learn from somebody the violent and hard way. I don't know if I'll do a Discord server. I'm still very new to Discord, and I'm not sure how I would run that. Yeah. Good friends hold each other accountable. This has been a truly lovely stream, everyone. I am tired and I still have to make dinner. My voice is getting quite hoarse. But I will see you tomorrow, rest assured. And we will be watching Spirited Away. And I'm very excited about it. I hope you guys either have the movie or you can rent it somewhere. It is available on Max if you don't have it. But I'm extremely excited to watch that with you. I'm going to be making a little popcorn for the time. I'll try not to eat directly into the mic because that's not great, is it? But thank you very much for tuning into this stream. I really hope you had as much fun as I did. I enjoyed talking to you guys and answering some questions, and I really hope that you'll be back tomorrow for more. Thank you very much once again. Good night, sleep tight, and don't look under your bed tonight.